Delvin Zinn back in the lineup for South Bend and looking to reclaim the stolen bases crown. Bradford Depperman on the hill for the Cubs in his second start, looking for his first win as a starting pitcher. A debut behind the plate for Raymond Pena. A setup for an exciting day of baseball here at Four Winds Field. Welcome, listeners. I'm Josh Berber. Max Toma is alongside me in the booth here at Four Winds Field, and you're listening to South Bend Cubs baseball on Sports Radio 96.1 WSBT. Jake Slaughter, the hero last night, in giving South Bend their third straight victory on a walk-off win, their first extra innings win of the season. You might remember their last extra innings win, folks. It came at a pretty important time in the second game of the Midwest League Championship Series back in 2019. Nelson Velasquez was at the plate, a wild pitch was thrown, and Cole Roederer scampered on home for a 3-2 win as South Bend moved on to their sixth straight win in the playoffs, eventually claiming what is probably going to be the final Midwest League crown after the reorganization of the minor leagues here in 2020 and 2021. And South Bend looking to defend that title here, and Bradford Depperman looking to keep South Bend climbing up in the standings. Last night victory gave them another game separation from Wisconsin and earned them sole possession of second place in the West Division of the High A Central, highest they've been since the first two games of the season when they started off 2-0. And South Bend looking to continue their winning ways against Wisconsin, beating them twice in the first two games they have faced them this season. David Hamilton might have something to say about it for the Timber Rattlers. He's been red hot against South Bend, clubbing home runs in each of the two games he has played against South Bend. 3 homers on the year. Each have come in the past 3 games he has played in. He's the man who is ahead of Zinn in the stolen base leaders in the High A Central League, and Zinn has said that he wants to change that. So Depperman might have to help him out and keep Hamilton off the base paths. Beautiful 80-degree weather here in South Bend as Depperman readies the first pitch, bounces the first pitch in the dirt at 7:09, and that is when we are starting. And it's a 1-0 count now to the Timber Rattler leadoff hitter and shortstop, David Hamilton. Depperman kicks and fires, fouled away by Hamilton. Count evens up 1-1. And second pitch into the game, a lucky fan is going to get a souvenir. It was recently announced that South Bend will soon be able to allow fans here at full capacity at Four Winds Field, something that we are all very excited about, to have fans in the stands. We're going to talk about that all night as Bradford Depperman's third pitch of the at-bat, a breaking ball, nicks the outside corner to make the count 1-2. Tonight's umpires are brought to you by Indiana LASIK Center, Northern Indiana's leading LASIK eye treatment facility. For more information and to schedule your free LASIK consultation, visit IndianaLASIKCenters.com as Hamilton fouls away a fastball from Depperman. Count remains 1-2. The umpires tonight at home, Kyle Stutz and Kevin Levine on the bases, switching back and forth as they have all year long, or all series long, I should say. And a couple of tough calls to make last night. It was just a long game, and South Bend coming up on top. The 1-2. Fastball high. Count 2-2. So starting on June 11th, that is tomorrow, 100% capacity here at Four Winds Field. Depperman deals. Well hit out to center field, but a pretty easy run for American, who makes the catch, ranging to his left for the first out of the game. So Edmund American recording the first out in center, celebrating from afar with Josue Uma at short. And now Hayden Cantrell, the second baseman at his highest position in the Timber Rattler order this series, will bat. He was 1 for 4 last night with a trio of walks. Depperman winds and deals. First pitch swinging from Cantrell, but that's going to go foul and roll into the South Bend Cubs bullpen. Cantrell, the number 16 prospect in the Brewers system. They have 6 of the Brewers' top prospects, according to MLB Pipeline here in Wisconsin. Fastball missing outside, count 1-1. Cantrell played football and baseball in high school at Turlings Catholic High in Louisiana as the breaking ball misses low. Count 2-1. He had some college football offers as a quarterback. Was originally drafted by the Yankees in 2017. But instead went to Louisiana Lafayette and made an impact there. The 2-1 from Depperman. Fastball high, count 3-1. And a lot of South Bend pitchers have not been getting ahead of their hitters early. They tend to just work the count. And game by game, they just get better and better. But Depperman walks just his second batter of the season. And the speedy Cantrell is on first. He has 7 steals in 2021 as Depperman heads back to the mound with a base runner for the first time today. Here comes the dangerous Garrett Mitchell, number 52 prospect in all of the major leagues, hitting just about 400 at 414 this season. A homer, 10 runs scored, 7 runs batted in, and 6 stolen bases. Can do it all. The former college teammate of former South Bend Cub Chase Strumpf at UCLA. Cantrell taking a lead off of first. Depperman offers the first pitch, and Mitchell waves and whiffs at strike 1. Bit out in front of that breaker from Depperman, as Mitchell back in the DH spot tonight. Kind of switching him off at center field and designated hitter, easing him back from his injury, much like the Dragons did with their center fielder and the top prospect the Reds had in Dayton, Michael Ciani. Cantrell going on the pitch and a hit and run as Mitchell grounds it to Slaughter at third, mishandles the throw, and Mitchell is going to be safe. So I think Slaughter was just waiting a little bit too long to hold Cantrell on second, and Mitchell ends up with an infield hit. If you're watching on MILB.TV, Cantrell was safe at second. He thought about going to third, and Slaughter had to look back there, really no choice, trying to prevent the speedy second baseman from becoming 90 feet away from home plate. That is indeed a single for Mitchell. That's called by our official scorer, Pete Yarborough. As we saw Cantrell running on the pitch, it was almost at the bag at second before the ball was even put in play. So make a hit number 13 on the year for Garrett Mitchell, and that'll bring up the power-hitting Thomas Dillard. Dillard that's probably the third at-bat he's had this series where he didn't swing at the first pitch. The fastball missing on the outside corner. Dillard tied in first in the High A Central with Vinny Pasquantino of Quad Cities with 26 runs batted in. And he has done that in bunches here in South Bend. The 1-0. Breaking ball high, looked like a curveball from Depperman, but the count is 2-0 to Dillard. Dillard drove in 2 last night and 2 in game 1 of the series. So 4 of his 26 RBIs have come in South Bend against the Cubs. He's got a runner in scoring position and a base hit with the outfield playing as deep as they are. Could score a run. Bradley Beasley and Nelson Velasquez in left and right. They are both just about 6 or 7 feet off of the warning track. So a good base hit could get Cantrell home and maybe even Mitchell to third. Dillard thought about swinging at the fastball. Does not, but it settles in for a strike, first of the at-bat, and it's a 2-1 count. The defense for South Bend is Delvin Zinn at shortstop. He is holding Cantrell on second right now. Uma at second, Derna at first, Slaughter at third. Behind the plate, making his South Bend Cubs debut, is Raymond Pena, as Depperman offers the 2-1. In there for a strike with a 94-mile-an-hour heater, and the count evens up at 2-2. The outfield for South Bend, Edmund American in center, Bradley Beasley in left, and in right field, Nelson Velasquez, who has been such a great hitter for South Bend this season, despite joining about halfway through the second series on the road against Beloit. Depperman looks at Cantrell back on second, fires home the 2-2 pitch, fastball missing high, and the count fills up at 3-2. Depperman, another later addition to the South Bend lineup. He came towards the end of the Dayton series, but did not debut until the end of that on May 21st rather, was his first game against the Dragons. He pitched 2 scoreless innings as Dillard fouls that one back. Count remains 3-2. 1 away in the top of the first. Hayden Cantrell on second, Garrett Mitchell on first for the Timber Rattlers. Coming in at 15-17. Just a half game out of third place in the High Central's West Division. The payoff, runners go, Dillard swings and misses, and Hayden Cantrell is in at third with a stolen base, and that is a Jordan Automotive strikeout. For every strikeout a South Bend Cubs pitcher records, the Jordan Automotive Group donates $20 to the Food for Kids program, which provides meals to over 2,000 kids each week. That is the first $20 you will see donated tonight, hopefully many more for South Bend. And 2 on, 2 out for the Timber Rattlers, as if you're watching on MLB.TV, you see a clean steal from Hayden Cantrell. Good jump, no throw, but 2 away for the Timber Rattlers, and Jesus Luano is up for Wisconsin. Still a good hitter in his own right, .274 his batting average, 3 home runs, 10 RBI. But the real dangerous part of the Timber Rattler order, as that breaking ball settles in for the first strike of the at-bat, count 0-1, has been the first 4 for Wisconsin. David Hamilton has been lethal from that leadoff spot. Corey Howell will certainly be missed in the lineup for Wisconsin. They choose to replace him with more speed in Cantrell. And, of course, Garrett Mitchell, last year's first-round pick for the Brewers. But Luano scraping together a solid season as Mitchell runs on the pitch, and a hard line drive off the glove of Josue Uma. Mitchell is going to get up from sliding. He's going to round third and score after Cantrell is in. The throw is in front of the plate from center fielder Edmund American, and it's a 2-run base hit for Jesus Luano. So 2-run score for the Timber Rattlers and an early lead for Wisconsin. At speedy base running, Mitchell was halfway to second base when that ball was hit. Had to duck as the ball almost hit him. He just kept on running around, and Uma almost made a spectacular play at second base. But just missing the catch would have been a beautiful snow cone grab. But instead, Jesus Luano gets RBIs number 11 and 12 of the season. And it is 2-0 Wisconsin with 2 outs in the first. The first pitch of the at-bat is high, and ball 1 on a 94-mile-an-hour fastball to Gabriel Garcia, who hit his first home run of the season in just about as epic fashion as you can do so. Bases loaded, 2 outs, and a moonshot into left field for a game-tying grand slam. The 1-0 to Garcia outside. Going on the pitch is Luano. The throw is wide of the bag and Josue Uma, but well backed up by Zinn, who has to go into the shallow center field grass to hold on to that one. So Luano is on with a stolen base. That is his 3rd of 2021, and there's a runner in scoring position and 2-0 count to Gabriel Garcia. 23 pitches this inning, or 25 pitches this inning for Depperman so far. Just 13 have gone across the plate for strikes. Looking to get out of trouble here. The 2-0 pitch is fouled high and away into the stands and maybe even out of the ballpark. So 2-1 the count to Garcia, hitting .217 with a homer and 11 RBI. 10 runs scored for the third baseman as well. 23 years old is Garcia. He's up against Depperman, who has already equaled his season run total in the first inning. The 24-year-old from Indianapolis. His timeout is called when Garcia steps out of the batter's box. Adjusting his gloves and his bat, taps the plate, and is ready for the 2-1 pitch. Depperman in his stretch, checks back at second base to Luano, deals, wave and a whiff from Garcia, and that's strike two, a 94-mile-an-hour fastball blown by him. Garcia was looking for something slower, and Depperman served him up a heater to make the count 2-2. Runner on second base. Outfield playing at the regular depth. 2-2 count as Depperman offers home. Strike three looking, and that will end off the first inning on a Jordan Automotive strikeout. When every South Bend Cubs pitcher strikes that batter out, the Jordan Automotive Group donates $20 to the Food for Kids program, which provides meals to over 2,000 kids each week. As the weather, Thirsty Thursday here at the ballpark, $2 on 16-ounce domestic drafts and 24-ounce sodas all night long. Make sure to get your tickets for South Bend Cubs baseball at the Four Winds Field box office, southbendcubs.com, or call 574-235-9988. Making his high A debut at the highest level he has ever played baseball is Justin Bullock, a record of 1-1 and an ERA of 1.42 for the Carolina Mudcats of the Low A West. First pitch of the at-bat is going to miss for a ball, a 90-mile-an-hour fastball to Edmund American, hitting .278 on the season, although he came into this week's series hitting .167. 4 for 5 in game one as a fastball settles in for strike one. 4 for 5 in game one was American, a homer, a single in 6 at-bats last night, and American is in the plus column as he almost got another base hit, but a foul ball was a couple inches off, ends up hitting the wall in the Budweiser Picnic Garden near the bullpen of the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. So 1-2 the count on American, who is the first batter Bullock will see at the high A level. Swaying side to side in the stretch is Bullock. The 1-2 pitch fouled away by American, sliced back into the netting behind home plate, and we'll do it again. No bat boys due to COVID regulations, so Samuel Reyes, who pitched last night, is collecting some baseballs for South Bend as the curveball misses high and outside. 2-2 count to Edmund American. American in his second stint with the South Bend Cubs back in 2019. He played just 8 games when we were the Low A affiliate of the Chicago Cubs, and down on strikes goes American. And the first strikeout of the high A career of Justin Bullock. He had 27 in 19 innings for the Carolina Mudcats. And big cheers from the crowd as Delvin Zinn is getting ready to the plate. First time back in a Cubs uniform in 5 games. Rejoining the lineup and looking to get on base and reclaim his steals crown in the high A Central League that now David Hamilton holds, as he's stolen a couple bases against South Bend. And the first pitch to Zinn is a breaking ball in for strike one. Zinn hitting .247 on the year, a home run, 12 RBIs, 24 hits, is second on the Cubs, 17 runs, and of course 20 stolen bases without being caught. Zinn quickly in an 0-2 hole as the fastball gets over the outside part of the plate. And Zinn, an 0-2 count with no one on. He has a bunt to hit kind of speed, but on 2 strikes that seems unlikely. Infield at normal depth is a fastball missing low, 1-2 count. Waste pitch from Bullock trying to get Zinn to chase, but Zinn in his 5th season in minor league baseball, just too experienced to swing at that low fastball. The 1-2. Missing outside with a heater again, count 2-2. This one slowing down to 88 miles an hour for Bullock. As Zinn now faces a 2-2 count. Working quickly is Bullock in his stretch. Here's the pitch and another fastball, another ball. So from 0-2 to 3-2, a full count to Delvin Zinn, and he is not a guy you want to walk. If he gets on base, I'd be willing to bet that he'll run on the first pitch, something we've seen him do just about every time he's been on base. May not do it here, though, as a ground ball to short, but it's mishandled by the shortstop, and a bad throw as well. So I don't know if that's a throwing or a fielding error on David Hamilton, but he didn't have to move to make that play. Could not handle the hard ground ball from Delvin Zinn, and he couldn't make the throw either. So an E6, and Delvin Zinn is on base for the dangerous Tyler Durna. So expect Durna to take this first pitch and Delvin Zinn to run, and a stolen base would tie him up with the man who put him on base, David Hamilton, committing the first error of the game. And Zinn will track off of first base. Bullock is going to take a long look over there, and he'll offer the pitch to Durna. Going is Zinn. Durna takes, and Zinn in at second safely with steal number 21 of the season. A perfect stolen base record. That first pitch was a fastball for a strike, so Durna is down 0-1. And Delvin Zinn maybe bragging a little bit to Hamilton, who was the man who attempted to tag him, that there is no longer a sole leader in steals in the Central. So that was fast, as is Zinn. He's going to take a short lead off a second. Hamilton right behind him to hold him on. Zinn dancing around second base. Bullock's eyes darting between home plate and the base, offers a breaking ball high, evens the count at 1-1 to Tyler Durna. So Durna hitting .240 on the year, has the same amount of hits as Zinn on the season. 3 home runs, including South Bend's only grand slam of the year, that Sunday game against Lansing, and 17 RBIs. Zinn running on the pitch, that's chopped on the first base side. Bullock mishandles, so does Dillard. He holds on, so Durna's ruled out. He was kind of bobbling the ball that Bullock just lofted over there with his glove, and the fans are not happy about that one. And it did not look like Dillard had it. Dillard did have complete control for a second. He barehanded it with his foot on the bag. He kind of juggled it up and down a little bit, but there was some initial control. So I can see why the umpire made that call. But it's going to be a 3-1 ground, or a 1-3 ground out for Durna. Zinn will move safely into third. And he is on 90 feet away from home plate, as Thomas Dillard maintains that he made the catch to record the second out of the inning. Only base we haven't seen Zinn steal is home. Don't think he'll try that here. The dangerous Nelson Velasquez takes the first pitch. 1-0. A fastball missing just high, about letter height, as we take another look at the replay. And it was a slow grounder to Bullock. He mishandled it initially, just tossed it with his glove. Dillard caught it with his right hand as a fastball misses. 2-0 count to Velasquez. So again, initially he had some control, but he was bobbling a little bit. Either way, he's called out by Kevin Levine, and Nelson Velasquez is looking to avenge that. A hitter's count, 2-0. Bullock deals. Velasquez swings for the first time at the at-bat and misses at a 91-mile-an-hour fastball. Velasquez third in the High A Central with an average of .521. He is second in slugging percentage at .583. 6 home runs leads South Bend. 22 RBIs is 8th in the High A Central and also leads South Bend. The 2-1 pitch hit high in the air. That may not stay fair, and it won't. Into the patio garden out in right field. So 2-2 the count to Velasquez. And that looked like it was just short of home run distance, but only by about 10 or 20 feet from Velasquez. The height and the crack of the bat got the fans at Four Winds Field excited. Bullock in his stretch, looks off Zinn at third, offers home the 2-2 pitch. Fastball high and inside. Count fills up at 3-2. So Eric Patterson talking to Delvinson at third. George Thanopoulos is coaching at first base for South Bend. The two of South Bend's assistant coaches, Patterson the assistant hitting coach, Thanopoulos the development coach for the Cubbies. 3-2 pitch, swung on and missed by Velasquez, and that'll do it for the bottom of the first inning. So no runs scored, no hits, one left. Thursday in South Bend. South Bend thirsty to try and defend this lead, down 2-0 to the Timber Rattlers. Trying to vent this lead. Max Toma joining us here in the booth, and South Bend looking to come back with Depperman on the hill, facing number 8, 9, and 1, at least in the Timber Rattler order. Nick Cale, Chad McClanahan, and then back to the top with David Hamilton. So Nick Cale stepping up to the plate. Or sorry, Carlos Rodriguez is first, so it's 7, 8, and 9, my apologies. Carlos Rodriguez, who came on as a pinch runner in the 10th inning for Nick Cale, and ended up going out with a walk. Did not score a run, but did start at the 7 spot in the first game of this series. And the first pitch of the inning is a 92-mile-an-hour fastball in the outside corner for strike one. Rodriguez 1 for 4 on the series with 3 strikeouts, a walk, and a single. This one is grounded softly to Uma at second base. Uma has to get up and throw quickly to Derna at first for the first out of the second inning. So 2 pitches, 1 out, and now Nick Cale will head to the plate for the Timber Rattlers. Number 20 prospect in the Brewers system. Cale catching after playing almost, I'd say probably played about 4.5 hours of last night's game. 10 innings behind the plate.
It's a decent effort, 4.5 hours. It's a day's work.
Yeah. I'd say he earned his paycheck for sure. Depperman offers, and it's a fastball over the plate, 0-1 count. But he didn't exactly show the pop that you'd want to see from a catcher who's staying in the lineup after that long of a game. Only reached on an error in yesterday's contest, was 0 for 5. Breaking ball misses outside, 1-1 the count, as Depperman has now reached 30 pitches on the night. 19 of them over the plate for strikes. Depperman deals the 1-1. Check swing, but fouled off to the first base side, count 1-2.
I agree with you. I'm a little surprised that Cale's in the lineup today. Usually you spend that much time at the catcher position late into the night, past midnight here last night. A little surprised he's getting the start the very next day. Really, the same day, I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it ended on midnight. He was still on the field when the clock struck midnight last night. South Bend with 2 catchers on the roster, choosing to go with the newbie Pena instead of Washer, who had a pretty solid series so far for South Bend, but Washer did also play game 1. Cale did not.
I think your knees hurt a little bit after a 5-hour and 16-minute game.
My knees hurt from that not even catch last night. Breaking ball missing outside, 2-2. But as someone who has only caught baseball in video games, I can't imagine how difficult that would be on your legs.
Hey, sitting in the booth for 5 hours plus is no small feat in my mind.
Always a good time in the booth here, though. The 2-2. Fastball just inside. Count fills up at 3-2.
You can tell he really wanted that one. Depperman really held that pose. He thought he hit that inside corner.
Yeah, Cale kind of contorted his body away from the ball to make it look like that was a bit tighter than it was. But still just missing inside, and the payoff from Depperman coming. Chopped foul off the end of the bat of Cale and rolling into the Wisconsin dugout.
Depperman right now really hitting his target. You saw Pena set up right on the outside corner. That's exactly where that pitch was thrown. So he's locating well so far in this second.
And already knows what the catcher's looking for and communicating well, which is good for 2 guys that probably haven't seen that much of each other just yet. Pena playing most of his season in Myrtle Beach. The 3-2 pitch, sliced foul way over the stands, and hopefully that doesn't hit my car.
Yeah, it's interesting because you got a guy who's not used to making starts and a guy who's making his first appearance behind the plate so far for South Bend.
Working pretty well so far. No wild pitches yet, and Depperman one pitch away from what would be his third strikeout of the game, if that pitch is a strike. Depperman taking a long time to get set in his stretch, sends the payoff home, and I think that hit Cale. It looked like, yeah, it hit him hard enough it pulled his jersey untucked out of his pants there.
Not sure I've seen that one.
That's definitely a first.
He's laughing about it.
Didn't knock the wind out of him. He's not doubled over, so Cale gonna trot over to first. First hit batter of the game for either team, and Chad McClanahan will head up with 1 out and 1 on. And you can see that they didn't technically hit the body of Cale, but hit enough of the jersey. Either way, it would have been inside. So on first anyway is Nick Cale.
That's why you wear the big baggy jersey.
Yeah. Extra padding behind the chest protector and extra padding when the ball just takes the jersey out of your pants there. The ball gets away from Pena, a breaking ball inside, blocked well, and holding on first is Cale. So McClanahan took a day off last night, but he did play in game 1 of the series, walked, hit a sac fly, and struck out twice. Did score on a run when he walked back in the second inning of Tuesday's game. The 1-0 from Depperman. Cale staying put at first, and that fastball missing outside, count 2-0. 93-mile-an-hour heater, pretty consistent speeds on the fastball, ranging between 93 and 94 from Bradford Depperman. Short lead off first from Cale. Depperman won't check on him. Instead, he'll send the pitch, and it's a fastball skipping in the dirt, and it's a 3-0 count to McClanahan. Looks like a pad from Pena came off. Or that might have been his mask, actually, as he was going down to block that pitch. McClanahan hitting 234 on the year, 4 homers and 17 RBIs. Versatile and able to play infield and outfield for the Timber Rattlers. 3-0 pitch is a fastball that gets Depperman into the strike column. First strike of the at-bat, and it's a 3-1 count. No swing-aways this early in the game, I guess. Tony La Russa would be proud. Depperman not looking at the runner on first base. Will send the 3-1 pitch home, and it is a fastball that just misses the outside corner. I've seen a couple of late strike calls from Stutz, but that one not one of them, as trotting on to first with the second walk of the game from Depperman is Chad McClanahan.
Yeah, tough. Depperman's gotten into a tough situation. Hitting the 8-hitter, you walk the 9-hitter, now you turn the lineup card over, and really he's done this all himself so far.
And this is a guy who has done some damage here in South Bend, a homer in each of his last 3 for David Hamilton, including the last 2 games against South Bend. He homered on the second pitch of the game last night, took a 1-0 pitch over the right field wall. First pitch to Hamilton, it's a breaking ball low. Pena does well to dive for it and keep that from hitting the backstop. Cale taking a short lead off second. I wouldn't expect him to steal. He has just 1 stolen base this season. So a 1-0 count to Hamilton, who is now tied for the stolen base lead with Delvin Zinn, as that one is sliced foul and over the Four Winds Field logo on the roof of the concourse. 1-1 to Hamilton now. Zinn still making a point to check on Cale at second base. Depperman will not. Takes a short look, actually, and then sends home the 1-1 pitch. Fastball just below the knees, so it's a 2-1 count to Hamilton now. And for the most part, when Depperman's missing, he's still missing pretty close to the strike zone. You've only seen a couple pitches that Pena's really had to struggle to catch, but it's not like Depperman is just all over the zone. Fastball inside. That one was a bit further in than he would have liked, and it's a 3-1 count. His 4th appearance at Four Winds Field. All of them came in relief. And he has now allowed 4 runs in a total of 7 innings here at home as a South Bend Cub. Depperman taking his time to get himself set. Checks back on Kale quickly, and that one is lofted into left field. Coming on is the shortstop Zinn, and he's going to run into the Timber Rattler bullpen, the ball landing at his feet for a foul ball, and that'll fill up the count at 3-2. Bradley Beasley also in the area, but the speed of Zinn definitely got him there a lot closer. He had a further run to make, but still beat everyone there by a good couple of feet. That shows the speed that he has and the range at short.
Not sure you're going to get a lot of help in the opposing team's bullpen. I don't think anybody was reaching out to catch Zinn.
Oh, no. They were letting him fall right into the chairs. Maybe one of the fans in the picnic garden would have caught him, though. 3-2 from Depperman. That's fouled into the Cubs bullpen, where we have a little bit of action starting as Jake Washer, the bullpen catcher tonight, is going to flip that to a fan. Looks like Tanner Jessen Dalton not throwing yet, but standing on the mound in the Cubs bullpen. A full count to Hamilton, 2 on, 1 away for the Timber Rattlers, who have a 2-0 lead. And that one way inside, so a ball 4 saves a wild pitch from Depperman, and that one loads up the bases. So a 1-out walk for Hamilton.
Now to play for Wisconsin, number 2,
Jessen Dalton's warming up won't intensify, but Raymond Payne out to talk to his pitcher, and Delvin Zinn's going to join the mound meeting from short, as the bases are loaded for Wisconsin with 1 away. So Hayden Cantrell will make a trip to the plate. He walked and stole a base and scored in his last at bat back in the first inning. So Depperman taking his time and readying for the first pitch to Cantrell. He's got loaded 3 bases behind him as Pena drops the breaking ball. That one high and just a bit outside. Count 1-0. Nick Kale on third. The speedy Hamilton on first, and Chad McClanahan on second. As that looks like the pitching coach, Tony Cagoule, after another ball thrown by Depperman, and it's going to be a full house on the mound. The warming up for Jessen Dalton has started to turn into just some soft tossing in front of the hill with Jake Washer, as Cagoule is going to talk things over with Brad Depperman.
Yeah, it's a little interesting you didn't see Cagoule come out when he loaded the bases. Instead, he waited 1 pitch. You got to think if it was a strike, he wasn't going to come out, but he missed the zone, and now in the middle of an at-bat, he comes out.
Just buying a little more time for the Canada native, Tanner Jessen Dalton, taking over the role of mustached pitcher now that Peyton Reamy's up in Tennessee. He's going to have to come out on your next mustache rankings there, Max.
It's a coveted spot, the #1 mustache on the team, and he's definitely earned it.
It sure is. And we'll probably see that on the hill later this game as Depperman offers the 1-0 pitch. A fastball missing outside, 2-0. Not a count you want to be on with loaded bases behind you. And Cantrell has some power, 2 homers on the season, but just 141 the batting average. Showing a bit of the pop, slicing that one foul, way out of play. Hitting the roof of the concourse for the first strike of the at-bat, count 2-1. Crowd starting to fill out here on Thirsty Thursday. Maybe we'll get another cup snake like we did a couple weeks ago. The 2-1 pitch. And that fastball missing inside. The fastest pitch Depperman's thrown tonight, clocking at 95 on the gun. 3-1 the count. And one more ball produces a run. Depperman deals. And ball 4, walking in a run, is Bradford Depperman. So McClanahan to second, Kale to third. Or sorry, McClanahan to third. Kale scores. And David Hamilton to second on Hayden Cantrell's walk. and it's 3-0 Timber Rattlers. It'll bring up the dangerous Garrett Mitchell.
Scouting report right on the money there from Cantrell, a guy who hasn't hit well at all this season, just a $141, but still a great OBP at 339. Already drawn 2 walks today.
He's drawn a few more this season, this series, 3 last night, as the first pitch to Mitchell is in for a strike. 96-mile-an-hour heater from Depperman. Mitchell singled and scored in his last at bat. Playing designated hitter tonight after staying in center for the long one last night. That one is ripped to second, bouncing over the glove of Josue Uma for a base hit. 1 run will score. Hamilton rounds second to score relatively easily. And advancing to the second on the throw is Garrett Mitchell. He's got 2 RBIs on a single, and Wisconsin now leads 5-0.
And as good as Uma's been at the plate seemingly the last few weeks, that's what we've seen from him too often defensively. A hard hit ball at him. He tries to field it to the side as opposed to just squaring up. If he knocks that ball down, he's going to have an easy out at first, makes the play harder on himself, and 2 runs come in to score.
And the official score is going to rule that an error on Uma. As you're right, Max, it seemed like he kind of avoided the ball when it was coming at him. But Mitchell now on second base. And 2 more runs across for the Timber Rattlers, and that fastball missing way out of the zone to Thomas Dillard, who was the first strikeout victim of the game back in the first inning. And Dillard, an aggressive first hitter. That was an easy pitch to take, though. We've seen him get knocked almost to his knees by some South Bend fastballs so far this series. The 1-0. Wave and a whiff, strike 1. That fastball reaching 100 miles according to the gun on our video board. And Dillard way behind that one.
You know, that was a little off, or he's really taking out some frustration on these fastballs right now.
I'm going to go with the frustration. Depperman has been better than this a lot this season, as that one is grounded, and a comebacker right at Depperman on the high bounce makes an easy throw to Derna at first for the second out of the inning, as Cantrell is held on third base. And what a play. Flash in the leather is Bradford Depperman. That one bounced right in front of the plate, and he made a leap and a nice catch for the second out. But it looks like Michael Ryan is coming out to take the ball, and a good way to end the outing. But an inning and 2/3 and 5 runs allowed from Bradford Depperman. He's responsible for 2 more, and Tanner Jessen Dalton will be on to try and get the final out of the top of the second inning. We'll be back in 60 seconds with South Bend 7 more. Garrett Mitchell is going to stand on second base after reaching on an error. But Tanner Jessen Dalton making his 10th appearance of the season, or his 8th appearance, I should say, of the season for South Bend. His last time in Four Winds Field was fruitful. Struck out the side, 4 of 7 batters in Game 1 against Wisconsin on Tuesday. 2 innings pitched, scoreless, walked 1, did not allow a hit, and struck out 4. Jessen Dalton 1-0 on the year, an ERA of 13.97, 17 strikeouts, and a total of 15 walks. First pitch misses to Jesus Luano. So a 1-0 count. As Cantrell remains on third, Gavin Mitchell on second for the Timber Rattlers, and a 5-0 lead for Wisconsin, their biggest lead of the series. Jessen Dalton sets and deals. Fastball over the plate, 1-1, well placed inside, just above the knees, and a very short distance off the inside quarter to Luano. Two on, 2 out, 5-0 lead for the Timber Rattlers. Jessen Dalton deals, wave and a whiff from Luano, and that's strike 2. Looking for the fastball, found a breaking ball. Now it's a 1-2 count. Justin Dalton, one of the guys who's been here since opening day. A lot of roster moves as expected in minor league baseball. Had a group of 5 sent up to Tennessee last week for South Bend as timeout is called at home. Brennan Davis was one of the more obvious ones you knew was going to be called up. Peyton Remy, Mateo Boki, and DJ Artis joined him as well. Justin Dalton, the 1-2. Fouled away by Luano, sliced back into the netting, and will do it again at 1-2. Luano singled in the first 2 runs of the game in his last at bat. Also wound up stealing second, his 8th stolen base of the year. Justin Dalton looking for the sign from Pana. Sets, deals the 1-2 pitch, bounces the breaking ball low, and the count evens up at 2-2. That's the second ball that Justin Dalton has thrown. 5th pitch of the game coming for him, and that one is hit high in the air to left center field. American is tracking towards it, calls off Beasley, and the center fielder from Curacao makes the catch to end off the second inning, but damage done for Wisconsin. 3 runs on a cup on 3 walks and a hit by pitch, but no hits. 2 runners left, and at the end of an inning and a half, South Bend trails 5-0. Depperman, an inning and 2/3, 2 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, and 5 earned runs. And that is the score here in South Bend. 5-0 in favor of the Timber Rattlers, but Jonathan Perlaza swinging the bat at a red-hot rate. 6-game hit streak, 8 games on base for the outfielder from Venezuela. 247 on the year. He hit South Bend's first home run of the season back in the middle of May and has driven in 14 runs. He swings and misses at the first pitch of the inning from Justin Bullock, a fastball, 0-1 the count. Perlaza drove in the most runs of a South Bend player last night with an RBI single and a single that went for 2 RBIs as a fastball misses, count 1-1. And it was that 1 through 5 spot in the South Bend order. All of them reached base multiple times, and Derna was the only one without 2 hits as Perlaza fouls this one back high. Giving chase is Hamilton. He won't be able to get there. Check that. That was McClanahan, who's going to, instead of tossing it to a fan, toss the ball to a pitcher in the Wisconsin bullpen. So 1-2 the count to Perlaza now.
And it was a classic night at the plate for Derna. He probably only didn't get 2 hits because he walked 3 times. The man is an on-base machine.
And was hit by a pitch. He just wants to get on base in every which way. But that one hit was just a rocket single right up the middle from Derna, boy. When he makes contact, he hits it hard. The 1-2. Fastball missing away, count 2-2. Shift on for Perlaza. The third baseman, McClanahan, is playing at the shortstop position, about an inch off his heel in the outfield grass. Hamilton playing close to second, and now Perlaza grounding right to the first baseman, Dillard, and he will step on the base for the first out of the inning.
Third baseman, number 40.
So the shift works for the Timber Rattlers, and last night's hero, Jake Slaughter, coming up to the plate. 2 runners on in the bottom of the 12th inning. And actually the bases were loaded. 1 man was out. And a 2-run single from Slaughter. And the first pitch hits him. I really hope that wasn't intentional, because I feel like if you're going to hit anyone after a 12-inning game, it's going to be the guy who won it.
Hey, he's been getting hit a lot lately, too.
Not a habit you want to get into. And Slaughter on first with 1 out, the second base runner of the game for South Bend. And now Bradley Beasley will step up to the plate. Slaughter with a steal this season. He's not going to be going on every pitch, but one to watch is the breaking ball in for a strike on Beasley. Beasley has had a solid start to his pro career, but last night was not part of that as he went 0 for 6, the only South Bend Cub not to record a hit in that 12-inning contest. He hit the second pitch he saw into the outfield for a base hit. Doesn't hit that one, swings and misses a 90-mile-an-hour fastball, count 0-2. But Beasley hitting .243 in his first season as a pro, still has not played 10 games as a professional player after being signed at a Cal Poly in August of 2020 by the Chicago Cubs. The 0-2. Jammed on the inside fastball, swings and miss for a strikeout, and that's the second out of the inning for Beasley. So Bradley down on 3 straight pitches, the third strikeout of the game for Justin Bullock, and Josue Uma heading up to the ditch, looking to avenge that error in the last inning. Uma did not have a hot start at the plate in South Bend, but has come on this series. He has multiple hits in each of the past 2 games. A couple of doubles and an RBI. Slaughter running on the first pitch, and that ball fouled high and away from everyone. So Jake Slaughter will have to head back to first base.
Hey, you wonder if it's maybe a change of scenery. He wasn't hitting that well with South Bend, and he moved up to AAA Iowa. He didn't hit particularly well there either, but since he's come back, he's really been raking at the plate.
And it's just different pitches you see, different pitchers you see in AAA and High A. You get used to the high quality pitching of the guys who are a step away from the major leagues, and comes back to High A. It really seems like he's seeing the game in a whole different light. The 0-1 from Bullock. Just catching the inside corner on the breaking ball, count 0-2.
And with all the injuries the Cubs have had this year, AAA Iowa, I mean, step away, it's almost literally a step away. It seems like they're just switching off guys all season long.
Well, they seem to be. One of the guys who's been with Iowa since the alternate site, Patrick Wisdom, is probably the hottest player in the major leagues right now. He's had a home run in almost every game he's played in the majors. His timeout called by Kyle Stutz at home plate.
He's the player of the week last week.
Yep. Going
into yesterday's game, he had homered in 20% of his at-bats. I mean, that's just, I think it was 8 in 40, just remarkable.
It's unheard of. I've never seen a start like that. Everyone was raving about your mean Mercedes' start, but you haven't started off an MLB season like Wisdom before. The 0-2, high and away.
Mercedes started the year 8 for 8. I mean, that was just insane.
Yeah. It's only been done a handful of times before, but Wisdom, I think a homer in 20% of your bats is a bit more impressive. I don't know about you, but a 1-2 pitch from Bullock is going to bounce low. The breaking ball makes it 2-2. But for Mercedes, it was more impressive because I believe that was his major league debut this season. He hadn't played in the majors before this year. Wisdom has been in and out of the league since 2018. Was still a relatively unknown name, but we saw him in the alternate site, and he was hitting bombs over here too. Slaughter going on the 2-2 pitch, and once again, as Slaughter goes to second, he'll have to come back to first as Uma flies that high and away from everyone in foul territory.
And that's one that's got to sting because it came from the rival. I mean, at one point, Patrick Wisdom was a highly touted prospect with the Cardinals, and now they got to watch him play in Wrigley and just absolutely destroying the ball at the plate.
Well, the Cubs are pretty happy about it, I bet. Always good when you can steal a prospect from your rival like that, and a guy who's hitting the ball as well as he has. So a late strike 3 called from Kyle Stutz is going to end the inning. The breaking ball low, Uma avoiding it and hanging his head on his way to the dugout. So 1 runner stranded, but still no hits allowed from Justin Bullock. We're through 2 innings, a 5-0 lead for the Timber Rattlers. You're listening to South Bend Cubs baseball on Sports Radio 96.1 at WSBT. Descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the South Bend Cubs. You're listening to South Bend Cubs baseball on Sports Radio 96.1 at WSBT. Josh Sperber and Max Toma bringing you the sounds of South Bend as Tanner Jessen Dalton is back to work for his first full inning of the game, coming out and getting out of a bases-loaded jam, which ended up just being 2 runners by the time he was on the mound. Dalton, forcing Jesus Luano to fly out, and now he'll face the number 7 hitter, Gabriel Garcia, who sent the first pitch foul into the stands. Garcia struck out looking, was the second and final strikeout victim of Bradford Depperman back in the first. But of course, that grand slam last night will forever sting South Bend Cubs fans. Jesson Dalton sends the 0-1 home, and once again into almost the same spot, almost right directly behind the South Bend Cubs dugout, just a lot higher. 0-2 now on 2 foul balls to Garcia.
But in the end, all it really did was prolong the South Bend Cubs win. We just stayed here a little bit later, you know?
The comeback Cubbies, man. You can't beat us late in the game. 0-2. Fouled back again, this one hitting the netting. Right near where our mascot Stu is patrolling the stands. He's got to come and call an inning with us. I think Stu would be a good commentator for Cubs games. He's been around here forever.
The furriest announcer in the High A Central.
I thought that was me. The 0-2. Bounces the breaking ball, count 1-2. And Payne will throw it back to Jesson Dalton. A solid job in his debut behind the plate for South Bend. No one on as Garcia is the first batter of the third inning, and he lines that sharply to Delvin Zinn. A tough hop for Zinn, makes this play in the outfield, fires to first, and Derna stays on the bag for the out. And Delvin Zinn, we missed that range of his at the shortstop position. Boy, that's a difficult-looking grounder that he made look routine.
You know, like the ball was hit so hard to him, he had the wherewithal to actually take his time a bit. And something we take for granted that's going to be lost in all this is that Tyler Derna is just a scoop machine at first base. That man does not miss anything. His defense is just stellar over there.
He's one of the better third basemen or first basemen I've seen in terms of defense at the minor league level. And the first pitch of the at-bat is grounded sharply to Zinn again by Carlos Rodriguez. An easy play to Derna at first, following up one of the better fielding plays we've seen so far today. So 2 6-3 ground outs on a total of 6 pitches, and we are 2 outs away in the third inning. Leading off, heading up for the 8th hitter, the catcher Nick Kale. And we've seen a lot of that 6-3 play from Zinn to Derna this season. Zinn was the everyday shortstop, it seemed, for South Bend, and switched off a little bit with Uma, but Uma's mostly been playing second base when he's been down in South Bend. Zinn really, like Derna at first, has that shortstop position locked up. As the first pitch of the at-bat is a high fastball to Kale, who was hit by a pitch. Well, his jersey was hit by a pitch. Still on the body enough that it's going to count. And that started things off in a long second inning. Ended up producing 3 Timber Rattler runs. He was the first base runner of the inning as he lets the fastball go by him. 2-0 count. Kale scored the 3rd run of the game for the Timber Rattlers. And now faces a 2-0 pitch from Jesson Dalton. Hit high in the air to right center field. Velasquez is going to call off Edmund Americon coming towards his left. Squeezes with 2 hands to end off the inning. So for the first time today, Wisconsin goes 1-2-3, a scoreless third from Tanner Jesson Dalton, and South Bend looking to start chipping back away. They are down 5-0, and you're listening to South Bend. Raymond Pena is getting ready to make his first at-bat for the South Bend Cubs in 2021. He'll be facing Justin Bullock, who has held South Bend to just 2 base runners but no hits. He is allowed Slaughter to reach when he hit him with a pitch. Delvin Zinn reached on an error and unsurprisingly stole a base. We'll be hearing a lot more of just all of us saying Delvin Zinn steals a base, Darren, Max, and myself. It's just Max Toma and Josh Sperber here in the booth for South Bend. And Raymond Pena will make his South Bend Cubs debut out of the plate. First pitch to Pena is a fastball, which Pena swings at. 0-1 the count now. Raymond Pena coming from Myrtle Beach, where he had 6 hits in 18 at-bats. The 0-1. Or 3 hits in 18 at-bats, I should say. Fastball missing outside, 1-1. And Edmund American, another one of the newer additions, came to South Bend at the beginning of the Lansing series as the fastball misses high and away to Pena, count 2-1. And Bullock, the newest addition to the Timber Rattlers roster, recently called up and making his Wisconsin debut in 2021 as Pena swings and misses at a fastball 2-2. Bullock was in Wisconsin in 2019 when they were the low A affiliate of the Brewers. Struggled, though, 2-2 with a 7.78 ERA in 19 2/3 innings. Pena slices that one foul. That one is going to go just above the South Bend Cubs bullpen. And the count remains 2-2, a fastball that he hit away. And the 2-2 pitch. Hit sharply, looks like right into the South Bend Cubs dugout. Doesn't look like anyone was on that far side, and it narrowly missed our cameraman at first base, too. So a souvenir for the players and coaches of South Bend. We're going to see just how close that came right from the camera view as Raymond Pena strikes out. The 4th strikeout of the game for Bullock. Now the leadoff hitter, Edmund American, looking to make something happen. 6 hits in the 2 games against Wisconsin, including his first South Bend Cubs home run. Pena went down looking, and American went down swinging to lead off the first. Another speed threat, not someone that Bullock is going to want to leave on base. First pitch of the at-bat is in the dirt, count 1-0.
Bit of a memorable first home run. I wonder if it was, a bit of a tough for him because it's originally a triple, but then they overruled it.
He had slid into third, which is the craziest thing to me.
It's a bit anticlimactic.
A little bit. It kind of ruins the home run trot when it's really a sprint around 3 bases. Then, oh, shoot, I just hit a home run. Another one misses. A breaking ball from Bullock makes the count 2-0 on American.
Certainly a pleasant surprise. You could say that.
Yeah, he did look shocked coming up from third base, sliding up on his belly as he hits that one sharply, but right at the left fielder. The wind's tailing that one back on the track, and the catch made for the first out of the inning the second out of the inning by Jesus Luano. And that, much like that home run we were just talking about, that one just kept kind of carrying and carrying. It looked like it was a fly ball in relatively shallow left field, but Jesus Luano was on the warning track to squeeze and make that out.
And that's a pleasant sight because we haven't seen that yet from American in his small stint so far with South Bend. The opposite field power, man, that jumped off the ball the other way.
It did, and Delvin Zinn is a guy who's looking to jump out of the box. One more stolen base will give him sole possession of that high central crown as he takes the first pitch, a fastball on the outside corner for a strike.
Do you think it came up when he was at second right next to Hamilton last time?
I would bet money that it did. Wave and a whiff from Zinn, a breaking ball. Zinn had the guess wrong, count 0-2. I mean, Zinn, the whole year that he has been in South Bend, he has been about stealing bases, and he's been pretty vocal about it. He said that at every level he plays at this season, he wants to lead the league in bags. He fouls that one right over the broadcast booth here. And he was doing that by a significant margin.
Hamilton had that game last week where he swiped 6 bags in a single game. That's how you catch up quickly.
Yeah. I think Zinn's career high is only 3. But equally impressive, yes. I'm sure that was what Hamilton said to Zinn when he was saying, I got your lead now. Fastball misses, 1-2 count.
If I was Hamilton, I would have taken the glove off and given him 6 fingers. Need to take the glove off to do it, though.
And a swing and a miss from Zinn is going to end off the inning. So 5th strikeout of the game, 2nd of the inning for Bullock. And once again, South Bend is held scoreless. First time Bullock holds the Cubs 1-2-3.
South Bend Cubs baseball continues here on Sports Radio 96.1 WSBT. Into inning number 4 here at Four Winds Field. South Bend trailing Wisconsin 5-0. Tanner Jessen Dalton back out onto the mound from the stretch delivers. First pitch, check swing. They appeal down to first, and he did not go around, says the field ump, Kevin Levine. And it's 1-0 to the 9-hole hitter in Chad McClanahan. It'll be McClanahan followed by the top of the order in David Hamilton and Hayden Cantrell. 2 runs in the first, 3 in the second for Wisconsin. They lead 5-0 on just 2 base hits. Here comes the 1-0. Roped on the ground is second. To a knee goes Uma, and he's got plenty of time to throw to Turner to record the first down of the inning. A routine ground ball there, and that's 6 straight sat down now for the Timber Rattlers offensively. 5 straight retired for Justin Dalton since he came on with 2 outs in the second inning. And Hamilton will step up at the plate. He's 0 for 1. Flew out to Americon in center his first time up and walked and came around to score his next trip up in the second. His third at bat in just 4 innings. 1 out, nobody on. First pitch on the way to him. And he fouls it straight back to the backstop. Plenty of lefties in this lineup facing right-handed starters so far for South Bend. There are just 2 guys hitting from the right side tonight in this Wisconsin lineup. 2 switch hitters and the rest all lefties. That one skipped in the dirt well in front of home plate. 1 ball, 1 strike. Breaking ball that traveled about 56 feet from Justin Dalton. Cubs still hitless. And Justin Bullock is just absolutely cruising through 3 innings in his first high A start. He's got 6 punch outs. He's allowed just 2 base runners, hit a batter in the second, and Delvin Zinn reached in the first on an error. Break-even pitch on the way, ripped out to right. Velasquez on the run, running back, and he makes the grab with 1 hand for out number 2. Those are the tough ones to read off the bat, especially when you're on the right side here at Four Winds Field at this time of the day. Outfield pretty much still in the sunshine with the exception of Bradley Beasley in left. And Nelson Velasquez out there in right is looking right out into the sun. But able to haul that one in. The tough line drive right at him. Broke in, then broke back. And got the out. 2 outs, nobody on base, and here comes Hayden Cantrell. Digs in from the left side, takes a pitch off the plate away, 1-0. Garrett Mitchell on deck, Thomas Dillard in the hole. It's 5-0. Wisconsin here in the top of the 4th. Wind slightly blowing in here at Four Winds Field. Saw plenty of fireworks on the field last night in a 13-12 ball game. Fastball misses way upstairs. Pena has to reach up for it. It's 2 balls and no strikes. The Cubs at one point last night led by 5. They were up 10-5 before Wisconsin scored the next 6 runs. Well, now South Bend finds themselves trailing by 5 at 5-0. See if they can come back. 2-0 pitch on the way, and it's in there for a called strike. Cantrell has yet to register an at-bat tonight. He's been up to the plate twice, a couple of walks. He's stolen a base. He's scored a run. And his second walk actually picked up an RBI as the bases were loaded. Justin Dalton from the stretch comes home. And that one shot into the gap in right center. Velasquez will have to play it on a hop and cuts it off. It's going to be a 2-out single for Cantrell, who is aboard for the 3rd straight time tonight. Just the 3rd base hit of the ball game for Wisconsin. They had 2 base hits in a 2-run first, and when they scored 3 runs in the second, they did so without recording a single base hit. 3 walks, a hit by pitch, and an error by Josue Uma at second led to 3 runs. Open stance for the designated hitter, Garrett Mitchell. He digs in from the left side. Cantrell is 8 for 12 so far this year stealing bases. He has one so far tonight. He stays put. First pitch, breaking ball, misses off the plate away. Mitchell, the number 1 prospect in the entire Brewers organization, and you could see a great bit of why with his at-bat in the 9th inning last night. It came in a game in which they were down 4. They had 2 outs and nobody was on base. Didn't seem like they had much of a hope at all, and he went out there and drew a 10-pitch walk to start the rally. Fouls that one back to the netting, just missed it. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cantrell at first, 2 outs. Top of inning number 4. It's the Timber Rattlers 5 and the Cubs nothing. That 10-pitch at bat and the walk got him aboard. The next 2 would reach, and then Gabriel Garcia, down to his final strike, launched a grand slam down the line and left to shock this crowd and tie up the game at 10-10 in the ninth. South Bend would eventually win it in the 12th, 13-12. Next pitch, fastball misses well outside, 2 balls and a strike. Mitchell coming into tonight, 1 home run, 7 RBIs. He's 1 for 2, singled and scored tonight. Also reached on that error by the second baseman, Josue Uma. Came into this ballgame hitting .414 this season, slugging over .600, and an on-base percentage at .553. Justin Dalton comes set. Breaking ball, and it's chased and missed by Mitchell, and the count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Mitchell had a hitter's count. Thought he was going to get a fastball. He did not. Great breaking ball from Justin Dalton, and now he's 1 pitch away from getting out of this 4th inning. With the 2-2 pitch, we might see some action on the bases here from Cantrell, who's already stolen 3rd base so far today. Tyler Durna holding him close. Big hole on the left side of the infield. Sin playing almost behind the bag at second. Breaking ball in the dirt, skips away from Pena, and down to second with a head-first slide is Cantrell. And now he's in scoring position. The count now runs full on the DH, Garrett Mitchell. Cantrell bluffed on the pitch, stayed put, and then read that ball in the dirt and was off in a hurry. Now a base hit could make it 6-0. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Cantrell at second, Wisconsin up 5-0. Right on left matchup, a long look in from Justin Dalton. Trying to get on the right page here with Pena. They're switching up the signs with a runner at second. Now he finally shakes his head and comes set. Couple of glances at second. And finally, Mitchell calls time. Justin Dalton taking his sweet time between pitches right there. And you can see the respect he is getting in the outfield, even the other way. Bradley Beasley, only a handful of steps in front of the warning track and left. Another long look in. Justin Dalton comes set. And let's fly the payoff pitch. Breaking ball misses away, and Mitchell is aboard again. He draws the walk here with 2 outs, and now there's runners at first and second for the man in the cleanup spot, the first baseman, Thomas Dillard. And there you go, another great at-bat from Mitchell. He's got a mean eye at the plate. This guy's got plenty of pop, but really so far in the last couple of days at least, it's the eye at the plate that has really been eye-catching, if you will. Dillard 0 for 2, a strikeout and a ground out right back to the pitcher. Crowds the plate a bit from the left side. And takes a fastball away, ball 1. Dillard 6 foot, 230 pound, out of Oxford, Mississippi. Had an error at first base yesterday on a seemingly routine play, and had an interesting play there tonight as he barehanded a toss from the pitcher, Bullock, and they said that he actually did maintain the grab despite juggling it at first base. Fastball up and away, 2 balls and no strikes. And after getting the first 2 batters out on just a few pitches, Tanner Justin Dalton is starting to labor here in the 4th. A 2-out single from Hayden Cantrell on the 4th pitch of the at-bat. Then a 6-pitch walk to Garrett Mitchell, and now he's behind in the count 2-0 to Thomas Dillard. Uma playing a step or 2 out onto the outfield grass at second. Nobody holding the runner on at first. Durna playing back. Swing and a miss, and the count goes 2-1. Jesus Luano on deck. Gabriel Garcia in the hole. Justin Dalton trying to put up a second consecutive 0 after the Timber Rattlers struck for 5 in the first 2 innings. Still a hitter's count here for Dillard. He climbs back into the box, and here comes the 2-1. Fastball shot right back to the backstop. Put a good swing on it, just missed, and now he'll readjust the batting gloves. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. Cubs trailing 5-0. Cubs still hitless so far in this one. Bullock's been cruising. He's had 2 strikeouts in each of the first 3 innings so far. No action in either bullpen. Certainly Bullock will be back out there for the 4th. Here comes the two-strike pitch from Jessen Dalton. In the dirt, smothered by Pena. That'll keep the runners put at first and second. But now with the count full and 2 outs, you will see both runners off on the pitch. Gets Cantrell at second and Mitchell in first. They will be in motion, and a base hit to the outfield will certainly score Cantrell from second. I believe that was the sign from Pena as well, just letting the infield know to let the runners go. They're going to be off on the pitch. Durna playing back behind Mitchell at first. Zinn playing behind the runner at second and Cantrell. Here comes the payoff. Fastball misses upstairs, ball 4. From 2 outs and nobody on to now the bases juiced after a single and back-to-back walks. South Bend pitchers so far tonight between Depperman and Jessen Dalton have now walked 6 Timber Rattlers. There are just 2 outs in the 4th right now. A little visit from Raymond Pena, the catcher, out towards Tanner Jessen Dalton. You got to wonder how many pitches he has in him tonight. He went 2 innings in the series opener on Tuesday. Now he is trying to chew up some meaningful innings here in middle relief. This will be his 37th pitch of this relief outing. Bases loaded and in digs the left fielder, Jesus Luano. First pitch to him, bloops one down the left field line, but it's slicing and just foul over towards the Timber Rattlers bullpen. So Jessen Dalton able to get in front of the count. Luano is 1 for 2 tonight. He was the first batter Jessen Dalton faced back in the 2nd, and he got him to fly out to Edmund American to end the inning and strand runners at the corners. But he did single in a pair of runs back in the 1st and then swiped second base as well, his 3rd stolen base of the season. Jessen Dalton's 0-1. Misses upstairs, and the count evens up at a ball and a strike. So far this season, when Wisconsin scores first, they're just 9-8 on the season. Just 1 game above 500. As a team, they come in 2 games below 500 on the year at 15-17. 5.5 games out of first place Quad Cities. Break even pitch, wave and miss. A breaking ball downstairs. He chased it, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. On the flip side of that, South Bend, when they score first, are 8-3. That's not the situation tonight, as they gave up the first run of the game. And when they give up the first run of the game, they have 8 wins on the season. That's the 2nd most in the entire High A Central. 8-12 when they allow the first run of the ball game. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Bases are chocked full of Timber Rattlers for Jesus Luano. And timeout is called. Shade continues to creep across the outfield. Jessen Dalton picks up the sign from Pena, who sets up low and away. Pitch on the way, and he just missed. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He hit his spot with a nice breaking ball. Doesn't get the call from home plate umpire Kyle Stutz. And now there's deuces wild. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. It's Cantrell at 3rd, Mitchell at 2nd, Dillard at 1st. Taking a look at the replay here on MILB TV. That's just a great pitcher's pitch. Doesn't get the call. Another 2-strike pitch is fouled away, and the count will remain the same. A great play by a fan there on the carom off the roof in the front row. Caught it off the ricochet. You're sitting in the front row behind home plate. You do not think that is a spot where anybody is going to get a foul ball, and you would be wrong. Cubs still trail 5-0, top of the 4th. Jessen Dalton trying to strand the bases loaded. Here's the 2-2. Rolled on the ground to first, but it's just wide of the bag, foul. Luano came in as a defensive replacement in last night's game. Hitting .274 on the season coming into tonight's ball game. .375 on base percentage, a very respectable slash line, finishing it out with a slugging percentage of .468. 3 long balls and 10 RBIs. He's added to that total with that 2 RBI single in the first. Justin Dalton comes set. Another 2-2. That one misses well upstairs and away, and the count goes full. It's his third straight batter in which the count has gone full, and he's lost the previous 2. A walk to Mitchell and a walk to Dillard. Just 1 hit this inning. The base is loaded. And a full count to the 5-hole hitter in Jesus Luano, the left fielder. Defense playing straight up, right on left matchup. And here comes the payoff to Luano. Rolled on the ground to short. Zinn has it. He'll go to first with it and gets it to Derna in plenty of time. Justin Dalton strands a trio of Timber Rattlers here in the 4th and gets out of it unscathed. However, South Bend coming up, they trail.
Now batting number 17, Tyler Derna.
Tyler Derna digs in here from the left side. 3-4-5 coming up in the order for South Bend here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Derna, Velasquez, and Perlaza coming up. They'll face the right-hander in Justin Bullock, who has struck out a pair of South Bend hitters in each of the first 3 innings. 6 punch-outs in total, and he has yet to allow a base hit. 2 base runners, 1 reached on an error, and he plunked Jake Slaughter with a fastball back in the 2nd. Infield playing Derna to pull. Takes a breaking ball in there for a called strike. Just about 3 infielders on the right side. David Hamilton, the shortstop, playing just about right behind the second base bag. And Gabriel Garcia, the third baseman, playing well off the line. Swing and a miss. Starts him off with back-to-back breaking balls. That one on the outside corner. It's no balls and 2 strikes. Derna grounded out back to Bullock. His lone time up so far. Cubs trail 5-0. Into the line. Here it comes from Bullock. And he misses in the dirt. Solid crowd has formed here on a lovely Thursday night in downtown South Bend. 2-strike offering, spins a curveball that never comes back down. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes as that one misses upstairs. And the announcement coming from the South Bend Cubs today that tomorrow we can return to 100% capacity. And how about it, returning to 100% capacity the same day the Cubs are at Wrigley as well. High heater, Derna chases, strike 3. Strikeout number 7.
Next for the Cubs, number 24, Nelson.
It's the first time he's gotten Derna via the K. And his 7 strikeouts, how about it? He has struck out 7 different batters so far. Perlaza and Slaughter in the middle part of the Cubs order. The only 2 batters who have not been struck out so far tonight. There's just 1 out in the bottom of the 4th. Velasquez digs in. He struck out swinging to end the 1st. Defense returns right back to straight up. And that one's in the dirt, ball 1. Velasquez entering tonight, slugging .583. That's second in the High A Central League. Average among the best as well at .321. 1-0 pitch on the way to him. Swings over the top of a curveball. It's 1-1. And you might be saying to yourself, with those kind of numbers, how has he not made the move up to Tennessee yet? And the one really thing that kind of catches your eye is just how sustainable are the numbers he's putting up, because he is striking out at a high clip, and he has not been reaching via the walk very much at all this season. Break-even pitch tapped off the front leg. It's 1-2. Haven't quite seen the patience, but when this man connects with a baseball, he has as much power as anybody in this league. And the Cubs catching a break today as a couple of the best hitters in the league on this Wisconsin team have the night off. Corey Howell, who came out of last night's game with a bit of an injury, it looked like. 1-2 pitch on the way. Bullock misses upstairs with a fastball. Backs him away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. And Javon Ward is out of the lineup tonight. He's only been in the lineup 1 of the first 3 games. He is riding a 16-game hitting streak that he continued last night. Here comes the 2-2. Foul tipped right into the glove of Kale. He hangs on. Back-to-back punch-outs to start the 4th. And 3 strikeouts in a row now for Bullock, who's up to 8 Ks on the night. This is one of the most impressive pitching performances we've seen here so far at Four Winds Field, and it's coming in the High A debut of the right-hander Justin Bullock. Perlaza comes up to the plate from the left side. And now you will see 3 infielders on the right side of the infield as David Hamilton well on the right side of the second base bag. First pitch he takes downstairs, ball one. Perlaza 0 for 1. He grounded out to the first baseman Thomas Dillard his first time up. Bullock, a former 16th round pick back in 2017 out of high school at South Granville in North Carolina. He gets the sign into the line, rocks and fires. Fastball fouled back to the netting. Perlaza wanted that one, got a high heater, just barely got a piece of it. Trying to turn on one and launch it out of here to right. He's got 1 home run so far this season, riding a 6-game hitting streak. Has 14 RBIs as well. Cubs still looking for their first base hit. Bullock working from the first base side of the wide rubber into the wind, and the breaking ball misses inside. Bullock signed with the Brewers. He was originally committed to go play in the ACC at North Carolina State. And this guy had one of the better high school baseball seasons his senior year that you can find across minor league baseball. 2-1 pitch to Perlaza. That's skied out of play, and it'll go 2-2. His senior year, he was named the North Carolina Baseball Coaches Association 2A Player of the Year. That was back in 2017. He finished the year 11-1. His ERA was 0.55. And get this, in 63 2/3 innings, he struck out 124 batters. 2-strike offering here, tap foul. Almost 2 Ks per inning. Not to mention, he also hit. And oh, how well did he hit, you ask? Well, he hit .476, dropped 11 bombs, and finished with 46 RBIs. Just an incredible senior season. So you know he's an athlete out there on the mound as well. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs, nobody on. South Bend trails 5-0. And Perlaza goes down swinging. 4 straight punch outs for Bullock. He sits down the side in order here in the 4th. To the 5th we go here at Four Winds Field. It's the Timber Rattlers 5 and the Cubs 0. Carolina came here from Myrtle Beach recently. Was acquired as a free agent last year in 2020 after being originally drafted by the Cleveland Indians in the 38th round of the 2017 MLB Player Draft. He comes in a game in which South Bend trails 5-0. South Bend still hitless and 9 strikeouts through 4 innings for the right-handed starter in Justin Bullock. Josh, he's put forth so far one of the best starts we've seen either home or away really this entire season.
I think there was a Dragons pitcher who struck out 10 when he was over here, but no one has been as efficient, I think, as far as road pitchers go as Bullock has tonight. Obviously, the shutout starts from Bain and Jensen here come to mind when we're thinking of good pitching performances here at Four Winds Field. But in his high A debut, you can't ask for too much better than Bullock if you're on the Timber Rattlers.
So far with the South Bend Cubs this season, this will be the 3rd appearance for Cobos. Has yet to register a decision, has yet to allow a run in 2 1/3 innings. He's allowed just 1 base hit, 5 strikeouts compared to 2 walks. He'll face the middle portion of the order: Gabriel Garcia, Carlos Rodriguez, and Nick Cale. First pitch missed right there. It's 0-1 to Garcia, who's 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking to end the first inning and grounded out to Delvin Zinn in the 3rd. One of the best defensive plays we've seen tonight. Zinn ranging to his right, stopping and firing a dart across the diamond from the outfield grass and shallow left. That fastball misses downstairs. 1 ball and 1 strike. Garcia, 1 homer, 11 RBIs so far this season. Homer coming in grand dramatic fashion last night. 1-1 pitch misses well outside. 2 balls and a strike. Cobos played his college ball at Coastal Carolina. I said he was drafted by the Indians. He did elect to go play college for 3 years at Coastal, a Chanticleer, before he was picked up in 2020 by the by the Chicago Cubs, I should say. So that one's fouled back to the netting. 2 balls and 2 strikes. As many free agents were acquired last year as the draft was only 5 rounds. That'd be a tough year if you're coming out of collegiately.
They're seeing these guys, a lot of them that are here, Beasley, Cobos, a couple others that come to mind that would have been drafted, but it just says free agent. It maybe puts a bit more of a chip on their shoulder.
It's tough because you'd love to hear your name called in the draft, obviously. Fastball backs off Garcia away from the plate. The count runs full at 3 balls and 2 strikes. I know Cobos had some family here yesterday, had an aunt and uncle that drove all the way from, I believe they said they were in from Naperville in Illinois. Drove here 14 hours. Sadly, they had just missed him. He had pitched on Tuesday. That one skied in the air, shallow center field. American coming in. And he will call off the second baseman, Josue Uma, and make the one-handed grab for the first out of the 5th inning. He was nice enough to catch our ceremonial first pitch yesterday and the day before. And actually was catching some warm-up pitches from the kid who threw a couple days ago. I know that made the kid's day, so that was nice to see. Cobos making an impression with the fans and the coaching staff so far. He's gone 2 2/3 innings with South Bend and has yet to allow a run. One out, nobody on. Here comes Carlos Rodriguez. First pitch in there for a called strike.
I don't think there's anything better than just seeing a player having a catch with a kid on the field. I really don't. It's just so much fun to watch, and you know the kids love it, and good to see the Cobos is one of the guys that enjoys it as well.
And the warm-up pitch is obviously the kid having a ton of fun just getting to throw it with a professional baseball player. A great looping curveball slides in there for a strike. It's 0-2. Rodriguez took that one on the inner part of the plate. But you're also getting loose. You're getting warmed up. It's tough to go out there. There's a lot of pressure, and you don't want to just go in cold for a first pitch. Got the kid loose, and he made a nice throw to start the game. Cobos working from the third base side of the rubber. The 0-2 pitch on the way. Fouled off the glove of Pena back to the backstop. Cubs had been off to some slow starts offensively here at Four Winds Field this year. They're down 5-0 here in the top of inning number 5, but we've seen, you called them the comeback Cubbies earlier, Josh. That's what we've seen late in games. It seemed like for a while there, it was the 8th inning that was really sparking the magic. Last night, they came back in the 11th. Fastball, strike 3, got him looking. Froze Rodriguez with a heater on the outer portion of the plate, and that strikeout is another Jordan Automotive strikeout. For every strikeout a South Bend Cubs pitcher records, the Jordan Automotive Group donates $20 to the Food for Kids program, which provides meals to over 2,000 kids each week.
And a perfectly placed fastball from Cobos if you just watch the replay on MILB.TV. Right on the black, mid-90s. You can't ask for much better than that. 2 outs.
And nowadays, with strikeouts so prevalent, it was interesting the South Bend pitching staff actually didn't record a strikeout for 3 innings there. 2 up, 2 down, retired here from Cobos in the 5th. That one misses in off the plate to the catcher, Nick Kale. Kale 0 for 1, flew out to Velasquez in right his last time up and was hit by a pitch and came around to score back in the 2nd. Cobos works exclusively from the stretch and blows a fastball right by the catcher. It's 1-1. Field now entirely engulfed in the shadows. Just a bit of cloud cover overhead, approaching the 9 p.m. time here locally in South Bend. At a 5-hour and 16-minute game last night. Breaking ball clips the outer edge, strike 2. Location has been spot on for Cobos so far. Defense straight up, 2 outs, 1-2 pitch coming. Nobody on. Timber Rattlers up 5-0. That one's looped out of play to the right. In Cobos' junior season, I should say, which was cut short back in 2020 due to the COVID pandemic. At Coastal Carolina, he went 19 1/3 innings pitched. Allowed 12 earned runs, an ERA of 5.59. But he pitched great with Myrtle Beach. He's gotten the call up and he's looked good so far. So that one's popped in the air right side. Turner, the first baseman, runs over to the dugout, but he'll have to watch this one into the seats, and the count will remain the same. Kale, the number 20 Brewers prospect up at the plate. Plenty of top 30 prospects in the lineup here with the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers. Seen plenty of action out of Garrett Mitchell in the 3 spot, the designated hitter, the number 1 overall prospect with the Brewers, despite it being his first year in minor league baseball. He's already reached base a couple of times tonight. That one's off the end of the bat, foul away to the right. 3rd straight 1-2 pitch that's been fouled off. This is game 3 of a 6-game set. South Bend has taken the first 2. They've won 3 straight overall, and they've now climbed above 500 with a record of 16-15. In the last 2 days, they've hopped Wisconsin, and then last night they hopped the Beloit Snappers. They're now in 2nd in the division. Fastball stands him straight up off the plate. 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a tight division in the middle portion. South Bend comes in at 2nd, 4 games back at Quad Cities. Beloit just half a game behind them, and Wisconsin just a game behind Beloit. Everybody's chasing Quad Cities at 20-11 in the West Division. 2-2 pitch, line shot back up the middle by an outstretched glove of Josue Uma. It's a 2-out base knock for Nick Cale.
Just right up the middle. He saw a lot of fastballs from Cobos. This one he finally connected on. Good job by Cale, just waiting for his pitch and sending it up the middle of the field.
Line score starting to look a little bit more normal. So you take a look at the replay. Fastball got too much of the plate. Hit it right back where it came from. And now they have a base runner. 4 hits now for Wisconsin. They have 5 runs, but they had 5 runs on just 2 hits in those first 2 innings. They have 1 error defensively. First pitch up and in, fastball to Chad McClanahan, the right fielder. He's 0 for 1. Walked and scored back in the second. South Bend still looking for their first base hit. Their score was through 4. No runs on no hits and 1 error defensively. It came from Jose Uma at second. Durna holding the runner. Cale close at first. He's 1 for 1 on the year, swiping bags. Left on left matchup. Here's the 1-0. Slider fouled away out of play to the left. It's that big looping breaking ball at 78 miles an hour that's been the pitch so far that's been money this inning for Cobos.
And can't knock that fastball either. It's been sitting in the mid-90s. He's been throwing it everywhere he wants to, just hitting his spots all night long.
Looked great, struck out the side in the 7th inning back on Tuesday night. 1-1 pitch on the way, goes right back to the slider. This time clips the outer edge, and it's 1-2.
And a pitcher's so dangerous when they can combine good speed and good placement on a fastball with those tricky inside-out breaking pitches like Cobos is doing right now.
Goes breaking ball inside, gets the call, then goes back to it outside. Now he's got a 1-2 count on the right fielder, McClanahan. Goes back to the slider again. This one's skied, but it's going to stay on the infield. Josue Uma at second. Camped under it. He'll call off Tyler Durna and make the two-handed grab to end the inning. Halfway home here at Four Winds Field, it's the Timber Rattlers 5 and the Cubs nothing. Jake Slaughter, he ripped a 2-out, 2 RBI single in the 12th with the Cubs down to their final out, trailing by a run. And we'll see if South Bend can erase a 5-run deficit tonight. First things first, Josh, they got to get a base hit.
They do, still yet to have a runner on base, except for Delvin Zinn reaching on an error and Jake Slaughter in his last at-bat getting hit by a pitch.
Right on right matchup. Bullock working from the first base side of the rubber. Into the line, first pitch, breaking ball. Just barely misses up and in, 1-0. Slaughter was hit by the first pitch in the second inning that he saw. And he was hit by a pitch twice last night as well. He's been wearing it on that left side. Breaking ball, jam shot, foul out of play to the right. This will get into the seats. It's 1-1. Slaughter coming in it tonight. He's still looking for his first home run of the season. Got 8 RBIs, hitting .214, on base percentage just over 300 at .308. Haven't yet seen the pop from him. Slugging percentage down, just .250 on the season. 1 ball, 1 strike, nobody on, nobody out. Here it comes. And it's a breaking ball tapped on the ground. Couple of high hops to third. Long throw across the diamond. A big stretch over at third from Dillard. And he just barely kept that back foot on the bag. And Slaughter retired to start the 5th.
It wasn't so much his back foot that he kept on the bag as the spikes of his cleats. I mean, just hanging on by a thread here. If you're watching on MILB.TV, you're about to see the replay. Ball clearly in front of the bag at third base. Garcia fields it. Toenails, backs of his cleats. I mean, that could not have been closer to Dillard coming off of the bag.
Certainly wasn't on the top of the base. I think he had maybe just the bottom of the side of it. Here comes the first pitch on the way to Bradley Beasley. Fouled away straight back, 0-1. Garcia took a bit of his sweet time over there at third and chose to wait back on the ball as opposed to charging it. Did get a nice Sunday hop, but then didn't get a whole lot of his body into the throw. Kind of tried to release it quickly, kept his feet flat, but able to get enough on it still to get Slaughter. Get me over, curveball in there for strike 2, and it's 0-2 to Beasley, who saw 3 pitches and struck out in the second, and has now seen 2 pitches this at-bat and is in a hole 0-2. Bullock looking for strikeout number 10, and he spins a breaking ball well high and inside.
Looks like he didn't just release it well enough, just let it go a bit early, and that ran a bit too far inside on Beasley.
Still no action in the Timber Rattlers bullpen. 1-2 pitch to Beasley. Goes breaking ball again, just off the plate away. A nice spot, doesn't get the call. A good take from Beasley, and he evens the count back up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Easily one of the lone players in last night's game that was 13-12 that wasn't too heavily involved offensively. Rips that one foul to the left of the third base bag. It's 0 for 6 last night, 0 for 1 tonight, but has been a solid player so far in his short time in South Bend. We haven't really seen the average there. His on-base percentage is a little close to his average, hasn't drawn many walks, but the slugging has been there. Slugging .459, a home run, and 7 RBIs. 2-2 pitch. One's off the end of the bat. Right to the right fielder, who barely moves. McClanahan's right there, and he makes the chest-high grab for out number 2.
Next for the Cubs, number
2 outs in the 5th, nobody on. Still no hits for the South Bend Cubs. And that'll bring up Josue Uma hitting in the 8-hole. He struck out looking his lone time up. That was pitch number 76 on the evening for Justin Bullock, making his high A debut.
Talk about an introduction to a higher level. It's the highest level of pitching that Justin Bullock has played, and he is showing no signs of being up too high.
First pitch, breaking ball in there for a called strike. Touched on his senior year in high school. He pretty much averaged 2 strikeouts an inning. Well, he's pretty much there right now. He strikes out Uma here. He'd have 10 punch-outs through 5 innings. That one misses off the plate away. 1 ball, 1 strike. It was teacher appreciation night last night, so even I can handle that math. Should he get the strikeout, that would be 10 in 5 innings, which would be 2 on the dot. Grab your calculators and check me on that one, but I'm pretty confident. 2 outs, nobody on. Bullock rocks and fires. Wave and a miss, and it goes to 1-2. Tipped it right into the glove of Nick Kale. Now Uma down to the count, 1-2. South Bend's had just 2 base runners so far. Next pitch on the way. Wave and a miss, chased a high heater. Strikeout number 10 for Justin Bullock, and he has thrown 5 shutout innings here in his high A debut. To the 6th we go. It's South Bend nothing and the Timber Rattlers 5. This is South Bend Cubs baseball. 6-game set between the Wisconsin Timber Rattlers and the South Bend Cubs. It'll be the top of the order coming up for Wisconsin. David Hamilton, Hayden Cantrell, and Garrett Mitchell coming up. They'll be facing Scott Kobos, the left-hander, who came on for the 5th inning, and he will now come out for his 2nd inning of work. And so far, if you combine his time with Myrtle Beach and his time with South Bend, he is up to 14 1/3 innings this year without allowing a run, earned or unearned. 11 shutout innings with Myrtle, and now 3 1/3 shutout with South Bend. First pitch, fastball in there at 92 miles an hour for a called strike. Hamilton 0 for 2. A line out to right, a fly out to center, and he did walk and score back in the 2nd. Left on left matchup, swings over the top of that nasty slider. It's 0-2. That sweeping breaking ball from Kobos has been drawing attention so far tonight. It has looked great, and he has been locating everything well so far. After Jessen Dalton and Depperman struggled to find the zone a bit, he is all over it. Slow tapper over to first. Durna has it. He'll take it himself and step on the first base bag for out number 1 here in the 6th inning. Hamilton now 0 for 3 on the night. And that'll bring up Cantrell. Cantrell having himself a ball game. Entered tonight hitting just a .141 on the season, but he has yet to be retired. Now stepping up for the 4th time tonight. He's drawn 2 walks, he's singled, he's driven in a run, he's stolen a base, and he's scored a run. Plenty of action for him. He digs in. Switch hitter hitting from the right side for the first time tonight. Takes that one just in off the plate for ball 1.
And there may be a change in the Timber Rattlers pitching. First time we've seen someone warming up in the Wisconsin bullpen. It looks like it is Carlos Luna.
One's driven out to center. American's got a beat on it. He'll call off Velasquez. And the center fielder squeezes it with 2 hands for the 2nd out of the inning. So we might see the end of the line for Justin Bullock. And if it is 5 scoreless innings, 10 strikeouts, does not allow a base hit, does not walk a batter. He did hit Jake Slaughter, and the only other base runner was Delvin Zinn reaching on an error. And if you're going to let a guy reach on an error, Delvin Zinn's probably the last guy because he immediately stole second base.
I don't think I've seen him be on base this year more than 3 times without just stealing on the first pitch. He's just so driven to swipe some bags.
Left on left matchup as the designated hitter Mitchell digs in, takes the slider well outside away, 1-0. And there's been so much talk, you know, year after year about how to speed up baseball. Well, how about when Delvin Zinn's on first, we just let him go to second?
He's going to get there anyway.
Might need to bring that one up at the next A Central meeting. 5-0 Timber Rattlers in front. That one's line shot foul on a play to the left. 1 ball and 1 strike to Garrett Mitchell. 2 outs, nobody on base here in the top of inning number 6. It's Wisconsin 5 and South Bend nothing. South Bend coming into tonight. They've won 3 straight. Trying to win the first 3 games of this series. So hard to win a series this year with all these series being 6 games. Next pitch, slider misses just off the plate away. It's 2-1. Seen plenty of series splits. I mean, taking 4 out of 6 is no easy task.
South Bend only did it against Fort Wayne. Series split, or sorry, against Dayton. They split the series against Fort Wayne and then against Lansing as well. But I'd still call those pretty successful series.
And it's tough to go out there day in and day out for an entire week against the same team. That one's fouled back to the netting. The count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes. It almost feels like you're playing a playoff series.
Yeah, I mean, one more game, you could make it a playoff series. No days off, we could do it.
And there's just so many interesting elements about that 6-game set. You usually have the guy pitching on Tuesday, pitching again on Sunday. That'll happen this week with South Bend as Ryan Jensen bookends this series with starts. 2-2 pitch just missed off the plate away at 93. Couple steps towards the first base dugout from Scott Kobos. He thought he got the strikeout, but does not get the call from Kyle Stutz. Taking a look at the replay here on MILB TV. And it looks just off the plate away. Good call there from the home plate umpire. You're the pitcher, you want that pitch. You're the hitter, you think it's a ball. Everybody's convinced that their call is correct. And now here comes the payoff. That one's well upstairs. It'll get back to the backstop off the glove of Raymond Pena. And Mitchell is aboard for the 3rd time today. 2nd straight time stepping up to the plate and drawing a walk down to first base. And just continue to talk about this guy's plate discipline. It is impressive. You got to keep in mind, not only is he the #1 prospect for the Brewers, but this is a guy it's his first year in minor league baseball. You don't expect a guy to come out. He came out of UCLA and have such a veteran eye at the plate.
And it's not just the Brewers. He's top 100. He's top 60 in all of minor league baseball. That's not something you see directly out of the draft.
And that's without playing a game. Highly touted. Wave and a miss there at the first pitch to Thomas Dillard, the first baseman. He reached via a walk his last time up. 7 walks so far for South Bend Cubs pitching. That was the first walk for Scott Kobos tonight. He's gone an inning and 2/3. Mitchell the runner at first, Dillard the hitter. Top of inning number 6. Cubs still trail 5-0. Left on right matchup. Kobos from the stretch, kicks and fires. And that one's fouled out of play. It's 0-2. Jesus Luano on deck. Gabriel Garcia in the hole. No action in the South Bend Cubs bullpen. This is certainly Scott Kobos' inning to finish. As he grabs the rosin bag, tosses it around a little bit. He might use the rosin more than anybody I've seen so far this year. He likes to grab that.
I don't know if I've seen anyone else even use the rosin this year.
Sometimes you forget it's there because, you know, from our vantage point, it's behind the mound. You can see it on our monitors. Well, breaking ball waved at and missed, strike 3. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Dillard strikes out on 3 pitches, and the Cubs are coming up to bat in the 6th. They still trail 5-0 here on Sports Radio 96.1 WSBT.
Throwing their pitchers out at South Bend today. 10 strikeouts and just 2 base runners allowed from Bullock. And now Luna had more of the same in his last outing, hopefully starting with Pena here. It can change.
You look at the stats and you got to kind of wonder how Wisconsin finds themselves 2 games below 500. First pitch on the way to Pena in his second at bat with South Bend. Off the end of the bat, blooper over to second. And on the run, Cantrell makes the grab. 1 pitch, 1 out here in the bottom of the 6th. When you look up and down this lineup, you got Corey Howell, who was probably the best hitter in the entire High A Central in the month of May. You got Javon Ward, who leads the league in average and is riding a 16-game hitting streak. Oh, by the way, you have David Hamilton with an OBP over 360 right now, who has 21 stolen bases. He's in the leadoff spot. And then, oh wait, there's also Garrett Mitchell, the #1 prospect in the entire organization of the Brewers. I mean, those 4 guys alone, you expect this team to put up some more W's. First pitch right at the knees, a called strike to Edmund American. They come in at 15 and 17, but you look at that run differential, they're actually positive at +1 on the season. Meanwhile, South Bend, who's a game above 500. So here comes the 0-1 to American. Slow tapper to second. Cantrell has it, moving to his right, juggles it, and loses the baseball. American reaches base at first, and you got to tip your cap. That's what speed can do. A slow tapper to the right side. If you're an average runner, Cantrell can probably field that ball cleanly and throw it off 2 feet. Instead, he's got to hurry. He's got to make the off-balance throw. And as he tried to transfer the ball on the run, he just lost it.
And it's another error bringing a speedster to the base pass. And just like you were saying, Max, that's exactly what happened in Delvin Zinn's first at bat, except it was the shortstop who made the error on that play. That was David Hamilton, because he knew that he had to get it out of the glove quickly to get Zinn out.
American off on the first pitch. Zinn squares the bunt, pulls back. No throw down to second. American swipes second with ease. He's now 4 for 4 with South Bend stealing bases.
I know American did it, but I want to just nominate to call stealing on the first pitch a Delvin Zinn special.
I'm up for it. I second that motion. Pitch was called a ball. It's 1-0 to Zinn, who's 0 for 2. Luna working from the stretch. Glances once at second. American off on the pitch. It's called a strike, and the third baseman, Garcia, was late getting to the bag. American swipes back-to-back bases without drawing a single throw.
That's just fantastic awareness by American. He could see, he was looking to run on the pitch anyway, but he saw out of the corner of his eye, just looking straight at home, so Garcia's not seeing him check on third, and Garcia was a couple feet behind that bag, and now Zinn has a runner 90 feet from home plate.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out. Pitch on the way. Fastball just off the plate outside, and it's 2 balls and a strike. And it was a good pitch to try to throw a runner out on for the catcher, Nick Kale. It was an up and away fastball, which should take him away from having the batter Zinn in the way of the throw. And you kind of just got to throw that early, and if your third baseman doesn't get there, he doesn't get there. He did not trust Garcia to get there in time, though, to catch that ball on the move. 2-1 to Zinn. Breaking ball, and at 5 holes, the catcher, Kale, gets back to the backstop, and American touches the plate for the first run of the ball game for the South Bend Cubs.
Edmund American moving across all 3 bases without a ball being put in play. Gotta love it. South Bend's on the board, baby.
So in the second inning, Wisconsin scored 3 runs without a base hit. Well, South Bend doesn't have a base hit. They have just 1 ball put in play, 2 hitters into the inning, and they have a run scored. American steals second, he steals third, and then he scores on that pitch that got away from the catcher, Nick Kale. 3 balls and 1 strike. Zinn tried to get all of that one. A healthy hack goes through a fastball, and the count goes full. Not going to see a lot of big swings like that from him.
He certainly has the pop, but definitely with his speed, he doesn't need to do much but put it in a place where there's green grass.
So Cubs on the board. They trail 5-1 now. Still eyeing that first base hit. Here comes the payoff after a long pause from Luna. That one skied into shallow center. Rodriguez coming in, and the center fielder is there to make the grab for the second out of the inning. Action down in the right field South Bend Cubs bullpen. And this is not what you want to see. Matt Hussey is out there, and he is tending to Delvin Zinn, who came up gimpy, trying to run out that fly ball.
Looks like his right leg, he's walking kind of gingerly, but the last thing you want to see from Delvin Zinn, his 3rd year with the Cubs organization, coming up limping.
Tyler Durna steps up, and it looked like Zinn got hurt immediately. Coming out of the box right away, he flies the ball to shallow center, and he was hurt. It had to be on the swing. He was coming up really slow out of the box. Fastball way outside to Tyler Durna for ball 1. Now there's 2 outs, nobody on. Still in the home half of inning number 6. South Bend trailing Wisconsin 5-1. Just 1 man on the left side of the infield. It's the third baseman, Gabriel Garcia, playing basically a shallow short. 1-0 pitch fouled away, and it's 1-1.
And it's Juan Gomez officially warming up in South Bend's bullpen as Zinn's getting some work from the trainer in the dugout, and Tyler Durna is facing a 1-1 pitch.
It looked like Matt Birch was getting loose in the dugout as well, starting to stretch. Most likely going to see Zinn come out of this game. He'd like to proceed with caution. It's his first game back. Wave and a miss at an outside corner fastball. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes to Tyler Durna.
And I'd say if Birch does come in, if sadly that would have to happen, I'd imagine that Josue Uma would move to short and Birch would play at his natural spot at second base.
That's so tough. Zinn's first game back, he immediately steals a base to tie David Hamilton for the league lead. That one's fouled out of play. Count will remain 1-2. We'll do it again to Durna. And then he's got to come, assuming he's going to come out of the game. I don't want to speculate. But when the trainer comes out like that, and I mean, you saw how limping he was going down to first base, you would expect him to be pulled. Velasquez on deck, Perlaza in the hole. Right on left matchup. 1 ball, 2 strikes, 2 outs, and nobody on. 1 run already in this inning for South Bend. And Durna lifts that one to the left side of the infield. It's the third baseman, Garcia, who calls off the shortstop, but he makes the 2-handed grab to end the inning. No hits, but 1 run scored for South Bend as American reaches on an error, steals 2 bases, and comes in to score on a wild pitch. It's 5-1 Wisconsin over South Bend. When we return, it's the 7th inning here on Sports Radio 96.1 WSB.
Taken into the clubhouse by trainer Matt Hussey. Hopefully he will recover speedily and be back on the field soon for South Bend. But another potential injury scare is Juan Gomez, recently added to the mound. He is scheduled to pitch on for Scott Cobos, but kind of tweaked his ankle on that follow-through in warm-up pitches. Matt Hussey is back from the clubhouse, our trainer, and taking a look at Gomez on the hill. But one thing we know for sure, Josue Uma will move to shortstop, and Matt Birch is on at second base. He will hit second, replacing Delvin Zinn in the lineup when his turn at bat is next. And it looks like Gomez is going to be all right on the mound. Juan Gomez at his second stint here in third at Four Winds Field. And overall, this is his 8th game of 2021. Made a couple of a couple of relief appearances rather in Tennessee. This is his 6th appearance for South Bend. For the Cubs, he has pitched 6 2/3 innings, allowed 6 runs, all of them earned, struck out 6, and walked 4 batters, an ERA of 8.10. So the book closed on Scott Cobos, and we'll get to that after the at-bat as Jesus Luano will head to the plate. He is 1 for 3 on the day, drove in the first 2 runs of the game back in the first inning. And the first pitch from Gomez, the fastball bouncing on its way to the backstop, count 1-0. So Scott Cobos with one of the most impressive pitching performances in a day. We've seen a lot of impressive pitching. Bullock leading the way for Wisconsin, surely, but Scott Cobos, 2 scoreless innings, a hit, a walk, and 2 strikeouts, and just impeccable control of his fastball and slider. Josue Uma gets his first reps at shortstop, does not have to move to field that ground ball, fires easily to Tyler Durna at first for the first out of the inning.
Just feels like that happens all the time. Anytime somebody moves defensively, you feel like they're immediately going to get a ball hit their way to test them.
Well, the test was passed by Uma, a natural shortstop, but he's been moving to second base to make way for Delvin Zinn, who hopefully will be back on the field as soon as he can. You never like to see a player get helped off with an injury like that.
And you kind of answered my questions. It was a bit bizarre, but that was Connor McCarthy, the trainer for Wisconsin, going out to tend to Gomez because, as you said, Hussey was with Zinn.
So breaking ball missing low from Gomez, and Gabriel Garcia is up second in the inning for Wisconsin. Carlos Rodriguez on deck. 1-0 count to Garcia, who has struck out, grounded out, and flew out a trifecta of outs for the third baseman of the Timber Rattlers. Jammed, and that one was fouled off of, it really could have been anybody, and rolled back to Gomez, but the ball was hit backwards first. The ankle of Juan Gomez looking good. He's walking cleanly back up to the hill, so would be really rough for South Bend if they lost 2 of their players back-to-back like that. Bullpen clean for the Timber Rattlers, so Luna will probably come out and pitch the 8th, or the bottom of the 7th, I should say, as the fastball misses outside from Gomez, count 2-1. Garcia still with maybe the biggest hit of the series, that grand slam last night He also doubled in the 11th inning, but was stranded. His only 2 hits came with Wisconsin on the brink. Definitely won't get a hit there as Juan Gomez blows the fastball by him. 94 on the gun, 2-2 is the count. Gomez from Arizona bringing the heat. 2-2, checking his swing, but you his wheel that he's went around by the first base umpire Kevin Levine, and that is a Jordan Automotive strikeout. For every strikeout a South Bend Cubs pitcher records, the Jordan Automotive Group donates $20 to the Food for Kids program, which provides meals to over 2,000 kids each week. So $20 coming from Juan Gomez, and an even 100 on the game from South Bend Cubs pitching today. 2 from Depperman, 2 from Cobos, and Gomez getting his first K on the board. So Garcia down on strikes for the second time tonight, and Carlos Rodriguez, a strikeout victim in his last at-bat, will head to the plate with 2 outs for the Timber Rattlers. First pitch from Gomez, chopped to second base. Birch runs about halfway on the dirt. High throw to Derna, but he'll stay on the bag for the 3rd out of the inning. So Juan Gomez survives an injury scare and takes down the Timber Rattlers 1-2-3. We're going to stretch, and then the South Bend Cubs are going to try and chip away. 0-for-2 with 2 strikeouts today, but 3rd in the High A Central in batting average on the season, leading the South Bend Cubs in home runs and RBIs. In both of those categories, he ranks in the top 10 in the league. The 23-year-old steps up to the plate against Carlos Luna, and Luna offers the first pitch, which Velasquez takes a breaking ball over the plate for strike 1. And Velasquez is a guy who has just improved and improved every year. He has spent some time in South Bend, was part of that championship run last season, as the fastball misses high and inside. Count evens up at 1-1. And his average has improved every year he's been in the minor leagues. Hit .288 last year, .231 the year before, and is hitting .321 through his first 23 games of action. Velasquez fouls that one off into the netting, and the count remains at 1-2. Leading off in the inning, but the one thing, as Max mentioned earlier in the game, that he does need to work on is his aggressiveness in the box. He is such a strong bat, and the confidence that he believes he can rip every pitch, which, I mean, he really can. He has that kind of power. He has that kind of all-around hitting game, but definitely needs to loosen up a bit at the plate sometimes, and now he takes the fastball high for 2-2 count. And Jonathan Perlaza is a man who has a similar strategy at the plate, but he has become more poised in the batter's box as well. Both of them are on some nice runs at the dish. Velasquez swings and misses, though, for his 3rd strikeout, first of the game for Carlos Luna. And we are down 1 in the bottom of the 7th. That'll bring up Jonathan Perlaza, who has been switching off between left field and designated hitter this series. Second time in the DH spot. He was on Tuesday as well. And he has been having himself quite a nice series against the Timber Rattlers. He singled and scored on Tuesday night. Last night he led the way for South Bend with a multi-hit game. 2 for 6, 3 runs batted in, most on the team. He'll face Luna with 1 out. Luna offers fastball high, count 1-0. And Carlos Luna, out of Las Tablas, Panama, signed as a free agent by the Brewers in 2021. Luna up at the sky, now back to the plate, offers the 1-0 pitch, and Perlaza waves and whiffs. Count evens up 1-1. A bit ahead of that fastball, and you can see the frustration. Perlaza loves to knock that fastball deep into the field. Got good pull power, and facing a 1-1 count. That one hit high in the air to right center field. And easing back into it, calling off the center fielder, is the right fielder for Wisconsin. That's Chad McClanahan, who makes the catch for the 2nd out of the inning. The fans certainly seem to think that was going pretty far, but Perlasa hitting that just about 10 to 20 feet in front of the warning track for an easy out number 2.
Bit fortunate for Rodriguez in center that he had McClanahan there. It looked like he had his hands up in the air as if to say he lost that baseball in the night sky.
But McClanahan found it, and that'll bring up last night's hero, Jake Slaughter. Hit by a pitch in the first, 0 for 1, as he grounded out to third, where he is playing tonight. Swinging and missing on the fastball, 0-1 the count. And Slaughter started his year off in Tennessee, but managed just 1 hit and 14 at-bats. Won't get another one here, as that one is grounded to Hamilton. Did not have to move, and an easy throw to first base. The South Bend is down in order, 1-2-3. So a quick inning for the Timber Rattlers. No run scored for South Bend, and we head into the 8th. South Bend trailing 5-1. Juan Gomez back on the mound. Ankle looking all right after he may have tweaked it during a warm-up windup in the last inning. Gomez throwing a scoreless 1-2-3 7th, looking to repeat that performance in the 8th with the bottom 2 and the leadoff man in the Wisconsin order. Nick Cale up at the plate now. Chad McClanahan in the on-deck circle. David Hamilton in the hole. Cale takes the first pitch right to Uma with a nice leaping play. What a way to start that inning, a highlight grab. Josue Uma moving just a bit to his left and making a nice catch. Took about 4 or 3 steps to his left did Uma, and a great play at shortstop on a frozen rope from Nick Cale. Uma making some nice plays at second and short today. 1 pitch, 1 out. Now Chad McClanahan takes the second pitch of the inning over the plate for a fastball. 0-1 the count in the top 8th. McClanahan playing his second game of the series. Walked and scored in the first, but is 0 for 2 since. The 0-1. Fastball in the dirt. Count evens up at 1-1. McClanahan playing in the outfield today. Played at third base on Tuesday and hit a sacrifice fly that scored a run and struck out twice and added another walk and a run to his tally. The 1-1. Hit on the ground to short. Uma, about 3 steps from second, fires to first to Derna for the second out of the inning. And Josue Uma making a highlight play and a routine play to get the first 2 outs of the 8th. That will reset the order, and David Hamilton, who walked and scored in the second, but other than that has flown out and ground out. 0 for 3 on the night is Hamilton, as South Bend looks to end his 13-game hit streak. Second on the team, I believe third in all the High A Central, as Hamilton slices that one foul, and that's going into the parking lot.
It's tough to have a 13-game hitting streak going and not have the best hitting streak on your own team.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, but the guy with the best hitting streak on the Wisconsin team, I believe, is coaching first, or he was early in the game, Javon Ward. 16 games for him, and that's still not even the best streak in the league. Miguel Garcia set a Great Lakes Loons record with a 24-game hit streak the other day, as that one's fouled into the stands. Gonna hit off of the roof, and some of our fans enjoying Thirsty Thursday are going to find that ball bouncing around. So an 0-2 count to Hamilton with no one on and 2 out. Bullpen's clean. That pitch not. Breaking ball bouncing in the dirt from Gomez. First ball thrown in the inning, count 1-2. Gomez kept keeping everything pretty well over the strike zone with 12 strikes and about 5 balls thrown on 15 pitches. That one hit hard in the air, but right at Perlaza, or Velasquez, excuse me, who takes about 3 steps in, one-handed squeeze to make it a second straight 1-2-3 inning. We head to the bottom of the 8th. South Bend needing 4 runs to come back. So the 8th inning has been an inning of runs for South Bend frequently this season, but only 1 across so far for the Cubs. A little game reset for you as Wisconsin scored 2 runs in the first and then added another 3 spot in the third inning. And that would be it until the bottom of the 6th when Edmund Americon stole second and stole third on the first couple pitches of the inning. Then he went home on a wild pitch about 2 throws later. And that is the only run South Bend has scored so far. An unearned run charged to Carlos Luna, who is back out in the bottom of the 8th, and he'll pitch to Bradley Beasley, who's hitless in his last 8 at-bats, but had an important at-bat in last night's victory, as the first pitch is a breaking ball missing outside. The final at-bat of the game for Beasley yesterday looked like it would be a routine double play, but Hayden Cantrell flung the ball a little bit too far away from Thomas Dillard at first, allowing Jake Washer to score and South Bend to tie up the game as Beasley smacks that fastball into the netting, hitting the top of it and ricocheting back to Josue Uma in the on-deck circle, count evening up at 1-1. The lefty Burl Caraway in the bullpen now for South Bend. A fastball and a nasty, nasty curveball could be coming Wisconsin's way in the 9th. A late strike called on the breaking ball from Luna, and the count is 1-2 to Beasley now. Beasley averaged down to .231 on the season, but a home run and 7 RBIs, and he's had a lot of his success here at Four Winds Field. And looking to do the same on the 1-2 count. Luna deals. Beasley went around, and he's tagged on the drop third strike for the first out of the inning. So Beasley's second K of the day. He's 0 for 3 on the night, and Josue Uma up to the plate. He's struck out twice so far, both times coming against the starter, Justin Bullock. And Josue Uma walks up to probably the most popular song in the South Bend Cubs production room. If you turn the cameras on there, you'd probably see some heads banging and some fist bumping. Turned into a dance party when he's up in the plate, and the fans are getting in on it too. Remember, the South Bend Cubs are going to open up Four Winds Field to full fan capacity tomorrow. We've already seen some pretty packed crowds with the reduced capacity here, so I'm very excited to see what a bumpin' full ballpark here at Four Winds Field is going to look like. 1-0 count to Uma as the breaking ball missed. Lightsabers out for the fans, hoping to light the way for a couple of runs from South Bend. That one almost hit Uma, but instead he avoids the bounced breaking ball. 2-0 count now, and Uma's ahead of it. First time he's been ahead of the count today. That was pitch number 31 on the night for Luna. He's thrown all but 12 for strikes. Wave and a whiff from Uma, first strike of the at-bat. The changeup, he wanted to come a bit harder. 2-1 count now. As Uma resets his batting gloves, pulls the bat off his leg, and gets ready for the 4th pitch of the at-bat. Infield and outfield at regular depth. The third baseman, as Uma slices that one foul. That's Gabriel Garcia, is slightly more towards short for a loose shift for the switch hitting Uma, batting from the left-handed side against the right-hander Luna. Count even up at 2-2. Uma tapping the bat up and down off its back shoulder. Luna deals. Uma takes the fastball, and it's called strike 3 for the 3rd time. Uma's struck out looking twice and swinging once. And he is down on strikes for the 3rd time today as Raymond Pena looks for his first hit as a South Bend Cub. And there are 2 outs left in the 8th inning. 2 pitchers have thrown for the Timber Rattlers, and there are still no hits on the board. Raymond Pena needs just 1 swing to break that streak. We're just going to have to keep saying no hitter until South Bend gets a hit. First pitch of the at-bat is a ball, breaking ball low and away. The perfect game bid was up in the 1st inning as Delvin Zinn reached on an error by the shortstop, Hamilton. Second pitch of the at-bat, just missing outside for ball 2. 89-mile-an-hour heater from Luna. As Caraway's warm-up in the Cubs bullpen intensifies, Luna on the brink of securing Wisconsin's first no-no of the 2021 season. 2-0 pitch is grounded to short, and it is through the glove of Billy Hamilton, and I think we're going to call that the first hit of the ball game. Hamilton making a decently long run into the infield grass, and that ball going under the glove. We're waiting for the ruling from our official scorer, Pete Yarborough, our first base runner for South Bend since the 6th inning. And that has ruled the second error of the game on Billy Hamilton. So the no-no is still alive. And for the third time today, a South Bend Cub has reached on an error. If you're watching on MILB.TV, you'll see it was a short run from Hamilton, who just couldn't get his glove there in time. I think an error there is a fair call there, Max. What do you think?
No, absolutely agree. Just came up a bit too early on that short hop.
So Pena on first, then leadoff man American at the plate, taking the first pitch inside, ball one.
Ooh, here comes the wave.
So 3 errors for the Timber Rattlers, but still no hit surrendered by their pitching staff, and Pena not much of a threat to run on first, taking a short lead, just shy of the lip on the infield grass, where the base stealers like American, the man at the plate, and Delvin Zinn would be when they're ready to steal. American slices that one into the netting above the Timber Rattler dugout. 1-1 the count. American has scored the only run of the day. He reached on an error by the second baseman Cantrell in the 6th, stole 2 bags, and went home on a wild pitch. 0 for 3 on the night is American. Luna doesn't even look at first, offers the breaking ball home, and that one settles on the outside corner for strike 2. 1-2 the count, as American hunting for a 2-out hit. That would be South Bend's first of the game. Pena short lead off of first. American holding the bat in the air, and now tapping it up again and gets his back shoulder. Swings and slices that one into the netting. A changeup that goes backwards. The count remains 1-2. That was pitch number 40 of the game for Luna. He has thrown 27 strikes. So almost 75% of Luna's pitches for strikes against these South Bend hitters, continuing this Wisconsin no-hitter. Chopped foul and easily fielded behind the plate by Nick Cale. Pena was off and running, but no play to be made. Count remains 1-2. 2 outs, 5-1 the score in favor of Wisconsin. Edmund American and the South Bend Cubs still looking for their first hit of the ball game. Already a hitless outing from Justin Bullock. Luna has allowed 2 runs to reach by way of an error, or 2 runners to reach by way of an error. And that fastball misses high. Count evens up at 2-2. So Luna has allowed 2 runners by way of an error. Bullock hit Jake Slaughter with a pitch, and Delvin Zinn reached on Billy Hamilton's first error of the ball game. And that is it for the base runners for South Bend. One of them is Raymond Pena, who is on first now. Off on the pitch, and American fouled it back. So a productive at bat for Edmund American. He's fouled off now 4 pitches of Luna, which means something is coming. You know he's looking for South Bend's first hit of the game, and he's got enough power. We've already seen him hit a home run and a triple for South Bend so far this season. 4 dingers on the year, 3 coming from Myrtle Beach, and that one is a foul ball going into the concourse. So 2-2. Foul ball number 6 off the bat of Edmund American. Maybe he needs one of the lightsabers that are being passed out in the crowd right now. 2-2 the count, 2 outs, 1 runner on first. And that one is chopped, and American might have broken his bat. Hamilton fields, fired, beating American by a step. And that was close to being an infield base hit, but no cigars for South Bend. The no-no continues for Wisconsin, and we head into the ninth. Burl Caraway, 2 wins on the season, 4.66 ERA, 18 strikeouts, and 14 walks. A save on the season as well, though not in a situation for that. And Caraway has allowed just 2 hits in 9 2/3 innings in his career. This is his first professional season, so he's still working on that control, hence the 14 walks, but he sports a mid-90s fastball and a wicked 12-6 curve. That might be one of the best pitches you'll see individually from a member of this South Bend Cubs staff. You could see it from so many great places at Four Winds Field. Not a bad seat in this house, but the United Federal Credit Union rooftop might be the best one to get. Get your tickets now at the Four Winds Field box office. Call 574-235-9988 or visit southbendcubs.com for easy access from the comfort of your own home. So the Cubs' second rounder on the hill now in his 11th appearance for South Bend. Opponents just getting 2 hits off of him for an average of .067. And he's going to face Hayden Cantrell, Garrett Mitchell, and Thomas Dillard this inning for the Brewers affiliate, Timber Rattlers. That fastball is bounced in front of the plate to Cantrell. And that might have caught Pena. But it's a 1-0 count on the 94-mile-an-hour heater that didn't make it home. Cantrell has reached base 3 times. A single, 2 walks, a run scored, and he also flew out once, so he is 1 for 2 on the day. As Caraway readies the 1-0 pitch. Fastball again, this one hitting 96, but missing low and inside at 2-0. Cantrell, one of the top prospects in the Brewers system at number 16. As we take a look, that ball bounced right in front of the foot of Cantrell and might have caught Pena on the leg there. That's another fastball missing from Caraway, 3-0. Pena does appear to be all right. No signs of Matt Hussey coming out of the dugout or anything bad for the Cubs' new catcher. Fastball gets Caraway over, so 4 fastballs all ranging between 94 and 96 for the second rounder out of Dallas Baptist. And it's a 3-1 count for the South Bend Cubs rookie. We've seen 4 fastballs from Caraway, still waiting on that curve. The lefty deals. Another fastball. This one smacked into left center field, and ranging to get there is Edmund Americon. Cantrell speeding around second base, and the throw wide of the bag that Matt Birch catches, and Hayden Cantrell slides into second with a leadoff double. Good piece of hitting from Cantrell. Just the 3rd hit off of Caraway this season, and that one up the middle, but just tailing away to the left side from Edmund Americon, and he was thinking 2 all the way from the box. So a leadoff double will bring up the Brewers' top prospect in Garrett Mitchell, number 52 in all of the major leagues in just his first season. 20th overall pick out of UCLA, played on the same team as former South Bend Cub and now Tennessee Smoky Chase Strumpf. High fastball, count 1-0. And Caraway has started off both of the hitters he's faced with a ball. 6'3", 215 for Garrett Mitchell. He just looks like a ball player. He's got the speed and good contact of one as well. The 1-0. Fastball just hitting the outside corner, 95-mile-an-hour heater from Burl Caraway, evening up the count at 1-1. Josue Uma is playing just about in the middle of Cantrell and second base, holding the speedy second baseman onto the bag. Caraway, fastball grip in his hand, the 1-1 pitch. He deals. And that one gets away from the catcher, Pena. Cantrell thinks about coming home. Pena in the dugout. The ball ruled out of play, and Kevin Levine is going to send Cantrell back to first. So a 95-mile-an-hour fastball gets away from Pena, rolls into the Timber Rattler dugout. Cantrell rolls into third on the wild pitch, and it's a 2-1 count. He wanted to come home, but the right ruling being made by our umpiring crew. And Cantrell is stuck 90 feet from home plate. No one away. And one of the best hitters on this Timber Rattler roster is at the plate. Caraway missing with another fastball, just can't seem to find the strike zone with that heat tonight. 3-1 the count. As Garrett Mitchell is trying to reach first base. Probably won't see another Cubs pitcher tonight, though. Caraway looking to get out of the jam. The 3-1. And that fastball just tailing away at the last second. It almost crossed home, but just outside. And a second consecutive walk to lead off the 9th inning for Caraway. Second consecutive base runner. Cantrell reached on the double. He now stands at third. And Garrett Mitchell draws his 3rd straight walk of the day. Mitchell a threat to steal as well. And the big man, Thomas Dillard, batting from the right-hand side, the switch hitter, comes to plate and faces Caraway. He's 1 for 3 with a walk today. Connects on the first pitch. Uma ranges to his left, fires to second Birch for 1. Who sends it to Derna? Double play, but a run scores. Hayden Cantrell eases in home from third, and it's a 6-1 ball game in favor of the Timber Rattlers. So Burl Caraway makes a trade, 2 outs for a run, as Dillard was aggressive. Easy play and routine twin killing for South Bend. So that is just the 6th run allowed by Caraway this season. And he's got a clear set of bases for Jesus Luano. 2 away, and the fastball misses high. Past the glove of Pena. Count of 1-0. So a 6-4-3 double play gives him 2 outs. Timber Rattler lead extending to 5. And Carlos Luna looks like he's going to come back to try and complete this Wisconsin no-hitter. 2-0 pitch as a 94-mile-an-hour fastball makes it 2-0. Caraway has now thrown 13 pitches tonight, but just 4 of them have crossed the plate for strikes. His control is still a focal point of his development as that fastball crosses the plate at 94 miles an hour. 2-1 the count. And you expect some of these control issues for young pitchers, but Caraway having a harder time than normal finding the play with his fastball. It's usually the curveball that gives him trouble, which we have not seen from him tonight. All now 15 of Caraway's pitches, that fastball missing outside, count 3-1. All 15 of Caraway's pitches have been the heater. He's got a 12-6 curve that, as he puts it, he just chokes the heck out of. And that is his curveball grip. 3-1. Fastball gets him over 95 miles an hour, filling up the count 3-2. But Caraway does say the problem with choking the grip on that curve is that the control isn't always there. It'll sometimes slip out a bit earlier than intended and bounce in the dirt, possibly getting away from the catcher. But again, 16 pitches now, all of them fastballs. Pitch number 17 is a fastball as well, and that is by a swinging Luano for a strikeout to end the inning. That Jordan Automotive strikeout means another $20 will be donated to the Foods for Kids program, providing meals to over 2,000 kids each week. Cubs baseball on Sports Radio 96.1 WSBT. Josh Sperber and Max Toma with you tonight, and we are 3 outs away from the first no-hitter of the High A Central season. It would be spun by a combination of 2 Wisconsin pitchers, Justin Bullock, who is made a heck of a High A Central debut for the Brewers affiliate Timber Rattlers, and Carlos Luna, who's 3 outs away from finishing the job. He'll have to do so against Matt Birch, who is making his first hit after coming on for an injured Delvin Zinn. his first plate appearance, I should say, Tyler Durna and Nelson Velasquez. First pitch Birch sees is skied into center field. Easy run forward from Rodriguez in shallow center to make the first out.
Tough for your first at bat to be coming in the 9th inning off the bench in a no-hitter.
Yeah, no pressure at all whatsoever. But first at bat for Birch means one pitch and an easy catch from Rodriguez. And now Tyler Durna, to the cheers of the South Bend Cubs crowd, looking to stop the no-no right here. We'll need a counter on how many times one of us uses some kind of relation to no-hitter. First pitch to Durna is a fastball. That is a good frame job by Nick Cale. In for a strike.
Well, if you're going to have somebody busted up, Tyler Durna and Nelson Velasquez, next two guys up, two perfect guys to get that first base knock.
I'd certainly agree. Velasquez, one of the hottest hitters in High A Central right now, and Durna, a pillar of consistency in the heart of South Bend Cubs lineup, as he takes a slow breaking ball that bounces before the plate to even up the count at 1-1. The perfecto has been long gone as a run is across for South Bend, and an error was committed by Billy Hamilton to allow Delvin Zinn to take his steel crown, or at least share a piece of it, as the breaking ball misses outside 2-1. Just 2 base runners allowed by Bullock, and only 2 more allowed by Carlos Luna. That makes 4 base runners the entire game, and none by a hit. This won't be one either. An easy ground ball to the second baseman. Cantrell fires to Dillard, and we're 1 out away from a no-hitter.
And this could be a tough situation where, you know, it's a fireworks show after the game. You'd hate to let off fireworks after the home team gets no hit.
And a man who might make some fireworks of his own is up to the bat right now. Nelson Velasquez. Though 3 strikeouts tonight, he's got the power and the bat speed to connect and put the ball where he wants it.
A little segue extraordinaire right there, if you will.
I aim to please, Max. I aim to please. 2 away for Velasquez. Still no hits on the board for South Bend. Bottom of the 9th inning, and Luna offers the first to Velasquez, who checks his swing. That rolling down the line, it's going to stay fair, and he is tagged out by Carlos Luna, and Wisconsin has done it. A no-hitter for the Timber Rattlers. Celebrations in the infield on enemy territory after dropping the first 2 games of this series. We have seen our first no-hitter at Four Winds Field since May 6, 2019. But that was a much happier occasion. Peyton Remy and Derek Casey combining for 1 for South Bend. And Wisconsin celebrating the no-no in their first victory of the season. And it's going to be tough to watch some fireworks after this, Max.
Yeah, I mean, you really just got to tip your cap to Wisconsin. It's not a night in which South Bend really hit the ball well. It seems like the whole night they had a ton of strikeouts. I mean, 10 strikeouts for the starter, Justin Bullock. 3 more strikeouts in relief for Carlos Luna. That's 13 strikeouts for South Bend hitting. And they just weren't bailing up pitches. They weren't hitting balls particularly hard. It was a pretty easy day, honestly, defensively for Wisconsin, and just a tough night at the plate. I mean, the Cubs get a run, but they don't get a hit.
And really the only bat where you saw a hitter fouling off pitches so consistently was American's last at bat. He had, I think, 5 or 6 pitches he fouled into the seats, but he ended up grounding that one to short. And no hits on.